Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another insane, crazy edition of Crime and Sports, as usual. And today, no exception, I would say death-defying, but it's not a death-defying episode. It's shit! There is death and weird stuff and
foreshadowing.
This is definitely one of our odder episodes because it's all it's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on today, and wow, are you in luck for if you want something crazy. So enjoy that. Before we get to it, though, very, very quickly, want to thank everyone. If you have not done it yet, please do. But if you have done it, thank you for your reviews. Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Why do they matter? We don't know.
Who knows?
Have no idea. But for some reason, they help drive you up the charts. So if you haven't done it yet, please do that. And thank you for doing that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. New merch up and everything like that. But this is the last week. Last week here.
Last time we'll tell you.
Live show.
Yeah.
Virtual live show. Small Town Murder virtual live show. An actual episode. We're going to pretend like we're in a theater and we are giving you guys are the audience, and you pretend you're in a theater, and if we all pretend, it's going to be great. So
we need all of you to make believe together. Power of make believe together.
What we're going to do. We're all going to have the power of make believe.
We're going to build a nice roof over this thing.
January the 29th, this Friday, and it's available for 3 days after that as well. 72 hours after it's done, after it's over. So you guys have that. So please do that. Shutupandgivememurder.com right now. We're excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Than's you guys that have bought tickets already. It's super exciting to see the groundswell support that you guys provide for us. Thank you.
Thank you for everything. And another thing to thank you for, all of our wonderful producers here. If you have not done it yet, you probably want to get on Patreon. Tons of episodes back there. Just a ton of bonus episodes on Patreon. And also, you'll be a producer. Jimmie will mispronounce your name. It is patreon.com/crimeinsports. The last one we did last week was on the death of Steve McNair, which hope you enjoyed that. That's obviously an insane story.
Saddening and maddening.
Saddening, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And then on next week, the next Patreon episode will be, because we've talked about so much gangster stuff, we're going to talk about some gangster stuff, some mafia stuff, kind of around the real guys around kind of the Goodfellas crew. And we concentrate on that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, our next Small Town Murder bonus episode, which you'll have access to if you're a patron, is on Love After Lockup. This season's Love After Lockup, which we always have a ball doing, so you don't want to miss that.
That show is nuts.
It's oh my god, we can't wait. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. Get on there right now. Anybody above the $5 level gets access to everything, all the back stuff, all the future stuff. Enjoy all of that. And if you just want to be a producer and have Jimmie mispronounce your name and just have great karma and just feel like a good person, you can do that over at PayPal as well, using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Right.
Now it's time, Jimmie. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's get into this crazy episode here.
I love it.
This is a weird one. This is one of those strange tales where you don't know what to make of it. It's not like, oh, okay, here's a guy, he's born here, here's his NFL career, he went to college there, he played for 10. None of that. This is a completely different thing with very, very, very little sports involved in this.
Little left turn.
Very little sports. Yeah. Let's get into it and talk about Rafiel Torre.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
No.
No, you don't. Of course you don't. Rafiel, R-A-F-I-E-L.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll find out where that came from. And then Torre, like Joe, like the manager.
Okay.
T-O-R-R-E.
Okay.
So either Joe Torre, the manager, or the comedian, whichever one you want to go. So there you go. He is born in 1964.
Okay.
Don't know an exact date. And there's a reason for that. You'll find out exactly what's going on there. Now, not sure much about his childhood, and it doesn't really matter because we'll find out. He'll tell us his childhood, and he'll tell us. We'll let him kind of fill in his own story.
Let him narrate this thing.
Okay, he pops up in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, mid 90s really. He's an early internet adopter.
Oh.
Okay, so he's one of these guys that was very, very much, he was like an MMA quote unquote journalist. Like, there's a million of those now, all these different sites. He was one of the first ones to be doing that, to be on the internet, talking about MMA, talking about UFC, talking about all that shit in the 90s when it wasn't really popular. And it took a lot of heat from, legislators. And I remember John McCain was trying to get it banned, and a lot of people trying to. It was in this really weird, muddy kind of quicksand estuary of nothingness where it was, is it going to get banned? Is it going to not get banned? And then the internet was brand new. So it was all dark, murky territory. Yeah. And emerging from that, like the creature from the Black Lagoon, is Rafiel Torre online being like this kind of Pied Piper of MMA, talking about it all the time and gaining a pretty good following, talking about fighting. So
really,
yeah, because back then there wasn't a lot of it on there. So it's the internet. The weird thing is, like, the beginning of the internet you owe to like the military, and then after that to nerds, who were like bored and wanted to. I've read a lot of shit, like they literally wanted to send each other software, so they invented email so they could send shit like that, like attachments. Email attachments were invented by a guy who wanted to show his friends pictures of his grandkids and couldn't send because you had to have like all these different plugins and all these programs to get a computer. It would basically take a picture apart and then put it back together again, these programs.
Wild.
So he was like, this is ridiculous, so I'm going to sit down and figure out a way to make it work through email, and he invented attachments.
Incredible.
And just because he was like, oh good, now I can send not because look at me, this is changing everything. He was like, now I can finally send a picture of my goddamn grandkids. There, perfect. Just invented for his own need that he needed.
I told you they were ugly.
See, so that's my little daughter. My granddaughter, she's going to be hideous. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad.
You agree?
It's bad.
Now write me a letter back because you can't reply to this.
You're never going to reply to this. That's weird, though. That's the internet way it started. So, and then you owe kind of the swelling of the internet to meatheads. And I'm talking about of every different variety, but computer savvy meatheads. So it's a different brand of meathead. Like MMA and wrestling really were they were one of the first big, huge things online that normal people did.
Well, it's also kind of the only way you could see the actual MMA fights at that time. Because
that's the other thing,
right?
But you couldn't stream them back then. But you would get results online rather than some magazine that would come out 2 months from now.
Got it.
You could go right to the message board, and a guy like Rafiel Torre would be posting who won, a description of the fight, critiques and all that shit, and he did that, and so people were into that. So that's how they would interact, because there was no video, there's no YouTube back then, no streaming, dial-up connections and shit. So it's all typing. But yeah, he's one of the first people to do that. But in the beginning, it was like wrestling really blew up the internet. Like that was one of the first things that really got things popping. Like when wrestling websites came out, even like WCW and WWF, and they would do something, they would get so much traffic it would shut the shit down because they didn't realize that many people were even
gave a shit.
And they're like, wow, pretty much everyone on the internet's interested in this.
Wild.
Because there wasn't a lot on there either. So anyway, he ended up being like this kind of underground internet personality around MMA, and involved in that, he would talk about that he was a fighter as well, kind of his own backstory and why he's look like an MMA journalist, basically. Like, you can't just be like, I don't know, I just watched a fight.
Fascinating.
He's got to kind of say what his credentials are, shit like that. You have to have you either have to be like an announcer or you have to be like a guy who has good.
Who's done it?
Who's done it? You're either play-by-play or color.
Right.
Color has to have experience and know what he's talking about, and play-by-play just has to sound really good about it.
Yeah.
You know, right. There he is. He's on top of him, humping him. What's that called?
Right.
And then the other guy comes in with the
Al Michaels, and then Tony Romo breaks down the play.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
That's the formula of sports broadcasting forever.
Clever.
It's one guy has to carry it, and then
one guy knows what he's talking about, and the other guy's fun about knowing what he's talking about, I guess.
One guy can speak.
Yeah. Right.
And the other guy
one guy's read the dictionary,
have,
the other one's probably had the dictionary blasted out of him.
He may or may not have brain damage, the guy next to him, but he knows this one thing. You can just put a quarter in him and he's going to recite whatever the shit this one thing is. So anyway, Rafiel here, he talks about his record of fighting and his training and his dad and all this type of shit. He says that his dad is a Brazilian, and so he's Brazilian, and his dad taught him Brazilian jiu-jitsu since he was a child growing up. So that's his his entree into the world of MMA and why UFC he likes so much is that's why, because he said this is all he's been doing since he was a kid. He speaks of having, and this is, back then too, you got to look at this, like the 90s, early 90s, nobody had cameras.
No.
Nobody had video.
You're right.
To tape something on video, and I say tape because it would be on a fucking tape. That wasn't an accident.
No.
To put something on video, you had a big video camera.
Right.
That was it. No one just had I got my camera on me quick, I'll record this.
Right. It didn't fit in one hand. It was heavy as a motherfucker. You needed your shoulder for leverage.
Yeah, and even in the early 90s when they got a little bit smaller, you needed to make sure the battery was charged. And it was a ordeal. You didn't just have your camera quick and whip it out and film something. If you wanted to film something, it's like, I'm prepared to film that. I got it all set. It's it's a thing.
Yeah, and the internet and Bob Saget facilitated people getting those.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah, it was Bob Saget. Yeah. Honey, we need this $800 video camera in case my son hits me in the nuts with a wiffle bat. That way the whole world can see it.
We can maybe pay our rent.
The whole world can see it. Yeah.
Whatever
we get, second place. I mean, we're not going to get first with a shot to the nuts, obviously, but it's a short.
Somebody's got a dog that does something better, but it's fine.
It's a short placer. Definitely going to put you in first, second, or third.
Thanks, Bob.
We're going to show here.
Panasonic owes him so much.
They really do.
Panasonic and RCA, all those fucking people.
He made so much money just to go. And then there's this guy getting hit in the nuts with a wiffle bat. Right. You know how much money he made for that?
Oh, I want to know.
It's obscene. I don't know the exact number, but it's as obscene as the Jonestown thing we were talking about. Jonestown, by the way, give you an insight of what we were talking about before the show. All of the poison in Jonestown, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, come on,
how
look
dare
up
you?
Fucking Jonestown. Huge mass suicide, all that. All of the poison for all of those people, like 900 people, all of that poison bought in bulk costs $8.85.
Unbelievable.
To kill that many people. Imagine that. So
$10.
Say what you will about the temple and Jim Jones, and yes, they're crazy and you're killing people and terrible things going on, but frugal.
Yeah.
Frugal as the day is long. You can't.
Or you know what?
You can't fault him for that.
Poison is so cheap. Whatever amount of money he had, he probably was like, when we get down to $10, we've already spent that, so it's fine.
And then that's it.
Everything will be all right.
Just get the poison at that point.
Just hang on to $10. We'll be okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway, back 90s, very little video. So things happen that you just would never see.
Right.
That's it. You just hear about them. Now it's like, well, if there's no fucking video, then how did it never happen? Well, back then it was like, of course there's no video, stupid. No one had a camera, dummy. Yeah. Right. And sorry.
And we couldn't take a picture of it because all of our flash bulbs were dead.
That's the other thing. We were out of flash bulbs. It was one of those ones you stuck on with the 12
stacks, the towers.
It was out. My little brother at a birthday party fucking blew them all. Blew them all right there, man. It was rough.
So weird.
It was rough stuff.
Technology was bizarre.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Plus, there was things back then that you wouldn't want, like on film. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't want filmed, whereas now people just film their illegal activities like idiots.
Yeah.
What is wrong with people? What
Having a camera in the event of a crime would get you fucking killed.
Yeah.
Today it's everybody's got, even the criminals filming it.
That's why they're committing the crime, to film it.
Because It's going to get so many views.
What the fuck are you doing? You're doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
Don't you know what crime is, you dumb motherfuckers?
The crime's not nearly as important as the story. I don't want to see the story.
You are doing it wrong.
I want to hear about it.
So sit them down and show them mafia movies, because the whole point, they didn't want to talk on the phone. These guys are like, I'm going to film it and then stream it and then fucking post it to social media when it's done streaming.
What we're missing is
with links to my stream.
What we're missing is great storytellers. That's where the problem is at. Storytellers are everything. If you've got an Italian guy tell you a story about something that's crazy, and you're like, I wish I could see that. No, you don't, because then the story wouldn't be as near as important.
That's the thing.
The story is what fucking matters, and you want to hear it from a great storyteller. You don't have those, and that's why everybody has a fucking camera.
I guess
because they can't tell a fucking story.
They have to feel important. Like it's like I filmed that. So, but when 800 people are all filming the same thing, none of it's all you all have the same experience.
Right.
It's what the fuck. You know what we used to do? We used to have like one person who has like a good camera. Film it all, and then we'd all watch it.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. And I'm not saying like as an old, I'm an old, but like in my day, I mean, because that still happens. That's why I'm saying that. You'll see like at a sporting event, and people are up on their phone. It's on fucking television.
You think your fucking iPhone's better than what NBC can do? Stop it.
No, it's a HD 4K amazing broadcast with a camera that flies down the field on a fucking string and gets in the backfield and
that new camera they have is fucking incredible. And it's a guy that runs around with the goddamn thing, but it films in like fucking portrait mode where the guy that's important is focused and everything else is blurred, and it is magic.
So why would you film on your stupid iPhone?
I don't want to see it on your
to some
fucking Instagram story.
You can't see anything. It doesn't matter.
No.
That's what it is. It's for your attention.
Yeah.
It's not because you want to see that again because you filmed such a beautiful thing. It's to then post it so maybe someone will like it.
Right.
It's really pathetic.
Because you need other people to love you.
It's pathetic. Yes. Unlike us who just do a show and put it out there for 3 hours and say, please love us. So, you know.
I beg you.
This is the drawn out version of that is what that is.
The audible version of that shit.
Exactly.
And much longer.
So the video. Anyway, in the 90s, you could think someone could have done a lot of things that no one ever saw because it wasn't on video in the 90s. Yeah. That's just the way it was. Whereas now, obviously, anything anybody has ever done is on video. Illegal, not illegal, you know, whatever the fuck it is. So as he says that he's he does underground MMA fights, which were most of them back then because a lot of the things were illegal and it was hard to get sanctioning. Mm-hmm. So unless you were like UFC or one of the 2 big or 3 places that actually did it, the fights were underground. Yeah. It was almost like underground, Fight Club Tough Man contest type of things is what they were doing.
How many stars have come out of that? Apart from Kimbo Slice, that's about it, right?
Well, yeah, because they're not actually...
Because they're not good at it and they're not trained. It's just like... It's just no-holds-barred street fight shit.
Yeah.
Kimbo Slice just happened to be really fucking good at it.
That's the thing, if you're just a really good fighter. Yeah. But then there's the thing of somebody with training is going to... You run into like the brawl-for-all thing of the...
and that was the downfall of Kimbo Slice anyway. Once he got into the ring, it was like... Oh, this isn't going to help.
Yeah, then
this isn't going to work, sir.
Broke the whole mystique of it.
Yeah.
Well, it was the brawl for all thing they had, the WWF. Have you seen the Dark Side of the Ring on that? The Vice?
No.
It's great. They quickly on this, the WWF back in the day had a thing called the Brawl for All in the 90s, which was the idea was we'll have a tournament where the guys will really fight.
Oh my God.
And then they'll win money and they'll really fight. Stupidest idea in the history of the world.
So dangerous.
Hurt, like 8 guys got hurt.
Now you're talking.
Badly, some of them. Guys, their reputations were completely ruined now. And the guy who won the tournament was a guy who they didn't want to do shit with. It was like a second-tier wrestler who wasn't considered tough at all, but he knocked the fuck out of everybody. It was Bart Gunn.
Would there be any forethought put into something like this?
Nope.
That you could kill Kevin Nash?
No, he wasn't involved.
Right.
It was all like kind of... Yeah. But no, God, Dr. Death Steve Williams, who was going to be like their They had a whole thing. He was going to have a big run with Stone Cold, this whole deal. He got hurt really bad. Bart Gunn knocked him out cold. He tore his fucking knee apart. Took a year of rehab, and he looked like an asshole then. So it was over for him. So, and this guy who, remember the Smoking Guns? They were a cowboy tag team, real cheesy.
That makes sense.
That's the guy who won, one of those guys. So
worked out great, Vince.
Yeah. So in the end, they were mad at him, basically, for winning.
For being
because he wasn't supposed to win, even though they said everybody win, it's legitimate, so at WrestleMania they had him fight Butterbean. Which that's stupid.
It's not gonna be close.
And the thing, they're interviewing Butterbean, and Butterbean's like, yeah, I mean, he could be tough and all that. He goes, I'm a professional fighter.
That's what I do.
I've been in 50 fights. I'm gonna knock him out in a minute. He goes, it's just not the same.
Right.
He goes, and I don't care if he's a grappler. He goes, I'm gonna knock him out if he comes near me to touch me. He's like, I'm a trained boxer. There's no way you're not gonna win.
And look how big I am. If
That's
I hit him once, it's over.
That's what I mean. He goes, I'm gonna hit him. Yeah. He's gonna get near me, and I'm gonna hit him really hard, and he's gonna go down.
And that's gonna be the end of this.
He's not gonna be able to. He's not going to hit me, and I'm going to hit him. That's the way it works. I know what I'm doing. And that's exactly what happened. Knocked him out in like a fucking minute, out cold, and ruined that guy now. So it was like
nearly dead.
Yeah. So, stupid shit. So what I mean is, there was a weird thing of like this Fight Club type weird shit that people were doing. This was even like pre the movie Fight Club coming out. I mean, the book was out for a long time, but either way. So he claims that he's been fighting, Rafiel's been fighting underground MMA combat here, I guess, and claims a 14-0 underground fight record. Okay. He says because by the 90s, he's like 32 years old by the time he's fighting all this, and he says that he's done fighting now.
Of course.
But, you can only underground fight for so long. I mean, come on.
There's no pension in that.
There's no pension in underground fights. I don't even know if there's a trophy.
And the older you get, the more dangerous it is.
I would imagine so. You don't want to die in a parking lot.
Not by some 23-year-old hand who's vicious.
Yeah, nobody wants that. So, I mean, like I said, he doesn't have any proof of this, but nobody had any proof of anything in the 90s. Yeah. You could say anything, and it was either true or not. Nobody knew. So, but like I said, it was not far-fetched for a guy to have a bunch of underground fights, so it wasn't like he was saying, I beat up Godzilla or anything. Like, this is all believable. And also, there wasn't really... UFC, there's not a lot of money in that now, then. Well, now, too. Now, unless you're like four guys.
Or Dana White.
We found out before on those reports, the congressional reports of how much those guys get paid as compare. It's disturbing. Let's just say
that's probably a good word.
He makes Vince McMahon look like a fucking prince.
It's embarrassing.
Makes him look like a fucking prince. Yeah. That guy is disgusting.
What
Dana
a piece
White.
Of work.
He is out of all of the like owner promoters of all of these leagues that we do, and everyone from Pete Rozelle and Roger Goodell to Vince McMahon to all of this, my opinion, Dana White is the worst of all of those as human beings. As human beings. Absolutely. I really believe that. Like, I think Vince is a terrible person, but I bet he's nice to his grandkids.
Probably.
Dana White would be like, put some HGH in that kid and see. He's useless. Look at him. He's just fucking useless right now. Let's see what kind of... No, he's being a pussy. I don't care if he's two. I don't care.
Eat your elk, pussy.
Change your diaper and get in there and fucking scrap, mister. Like...
Eat your elk. I'm flying you to Toddler Island.
Eat your elk steak.
Chew on the antler.
The damper and the pamper's coming up. Eat your elk steak. You're going to need it. We're flying down to the island.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the buggy and the huggy. And we're going to knock you. You're going to knock your little brother out. I'm sorry. He's recently learned to walk, and I think you could take him.
The new Tesla's coming out.
I got to get it.
Lace him up.
Let's go.
Tape him up, whatever. Fucking jerk off.
Powder each other up and let's go. They're babies. So
it's great.
Anyway, not a lot of money in UFC. So it wasn't like people were, to fight UFC was almost like for your own thing. Yeah. Like, and if you were like a champion, I guess you'd make money, but for the most part, it was just kind of to show you were a tough guy or whatever. It wasn't like like now, oh shit, I can get in that, and it's like a lucrative thing,
Sure.
and maybe I can get an endorsement, or
maybe I can make whiskey and make more money.
Yeah, you can turn that into other things at that point. So who knows though? But back then it wasn't. It was just like, I feel like getting beat up in a strange cage.
Right.
Like one of the fights that we'll talk about, the event took place in the pouring rain.
How can you eat? That's not even fair.
No, I'm looking at the footage, and it's on like the mat is like, it looks like it's like, rubber almost, this mat, and it's got puddles on it. It's just, it's pouring rain, and the guys are like, they're like not, they can't step because they're going to slip and fall.
It's not fair.
It's insane, and I'm like, why are you doing this? This isn't.
That's a way to get a man killed.
It's
just by losing his footing, and then now he's vulnerable.
Slip and crack his skull open on one of the. It's crazy. So, anyway, he also talks about his background of how his father is a Brazilian who got him into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as a child. He says that he entered the Navy when he was younger before the fighting. He was a Navy SEAL and then came out and was fighting. He says he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's also an instructor. And he's, doing all this type of shit. So, in addition to that, he's talking about, this is over the course of covering MMA events. He does some like mediocre announcing too. He announces a couple of these kind of shit underground shows back then, and everybody says he was a terrible announcer too, which is, I have to right away. I'm more mad at him for that than anything. That's just bad.
Why sign up for that when you can't do it?
Yeah. So as the late 90s go, he's a voice that everybody knows in MMA. Like after a while, like Joe Rogan and him, he knows Joe Rogan and all these guys. I believe he trains with Eddie Bravo, has not trains with him, but Eddie Bravo is trained by a guy that he hangs out with.
Okay.
So he knows him through there. They're all buddies and friends and talk to each other. So it's all that whole crew. Yeah. He's involved in this Rafiel Torre here. So he talks also about he tells a particular story here that Joe Rogan actually goes on to talk about later on about what he calls a quote kumite in the woods.
Okay,
a woodsite.
Yeah.
So if you've never seen Bloodsport, Kumite is like, I guess, this underground fight tournament thing, but to the death
woods?
In the woods.
Wow.
Because, where else are you going to have it where no one's going to interrupt you?
I mean, you need lights, but okay.
So, right, there's generators.
There's
lights could
ways
be had.
doing it.
You can do it. I mean, if you can do it in the rain, you can just light a couple bonfires and have them do it by dim light. It's safer than in a wet ring, probably.
At least it'll be warm in your death.
That's the thing. So, he apparently okay, well, this is the story here. He says that he was invited to a secret underground martial arts tournament in the woods. Okay, which right away sounds like a straight to direct to VHS movie. Now coming out now,
right?
And they're like, DVD is streaming. Nah, we can't do all that. I got some extra tapes though.
There were no Italians in this one, because anytime you tell an Italian there's going to be a bunch of shit, we're all going to meet in the woods, they're not showing up. We've seen Casino. We know what happens out there.
If we're going in the woods, who we killing?
Right. Which one? Which one is it? It's
if you
me.
Say nobody,
it's me.
Yeah. If I don't know, that means it's me.
Exactly.
So I'm not going.
I'm not in on it. I'm not showing up.
I picture Paulie and Christopher chasing the Russian guy in The Sopranos through the woods here. This is what it is. Where the fuck is he? Instead, I guess these two, it's a tournament in California. It's in a wooded area.
Okay.
Like
up north California, like where the redwoods are? Or
I mean, who knows?
Joshua Tree? I guess that's the only trees in the south.
No, there's woods that you can't see into.
Okay.
Like thick woods where you go into and you go, he's gone.
Mid to northern California.
Disappeared into the woods. So,
somewhere north of LA.
Exactly. So no one knew, which is funny because why would you fight in the woods who are you fighting in front of?
Yeah.
What are you getting out of this?
Why are you hiding? That's weird.
Well, unless everybody, all the competitors are all putting up $10,000 and everyone gets to, otherwise,
right.
What is there, 40 people there, 10, 20 people? What kind of spectators are you inviting to this?
Sure.
What does this matter? Is this for your own personal?
Are the ticket prices?
Yeah.
Is that how we're getting the purses? Or are we just each pooling our money?
Yeah.
Like a fucking football pool in the office every week.
It's not on ticket sales. Right. There's 40 people here. Well, at that point, just do it in someone's basement.
May as well.
Right? Like in Fight Club. What's the fucking
Save
point?
The gas.
Why the woods? Why all the subterfuge, mister?
Save the gas and the generators.
Yeah, why do it? So anyway, he says that he brings, well, I know he does. He invites a reporter.
Okay.
Is what he does here. To
report the goings on.
Come with me to the secret Woodsite.
Okay.
We're going to do this, right? So he calls him and he says, you drive, reporter, drive me there. I don't know if his car's broken down or what.
Right.
Or if he's just got to get, in his element to fight in the woods.
Sit in the back and do my kata.
You know how it works. He says that, he wants a ride there. So he does. And the reporter was like, wow, this is an amazing story. Like, you've heard, like, or in movies, there's these secret, in a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, maybe, but this isn't like something that you...
I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, actually come across. So he's like, okay, picks him up. Now, Ralph has 2 bags, or Rafiel has 2 bags with him. One is full of camping equipment.
Yeah.
Okay? And one is a secret bag.
Oh.
He doesn't know what's in it.
It's not for him?
He's got 2. It's a duffel bag.
Not the other guy's camping equipment?
No. He says, this is my camping equipment. What do you got in the other one? It's a secret.
Tell you. Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
So backing off that. All right. So the reporter's like, whoa, this is some real, mysterioso shit here. I like this, right? So Rafiel says, though, I need to be dropped off outside the woods. Mm-hmm. And you can't come with me. I got to do this alone. And trek through the woods.
Why are you bringing me?
You wait in your Toyota Camry and I'll tell you what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. You wait at the edge of the woods.
Okay.
Now, he says, okay, this is interesting. The reporter's thinking, what the fuck is happening in there? This must be the most amazing thing in the world. Yeah. There's like, holy shit, this is like some crazy woods like ninja thing. They're going to kill each other out there. That's why it has to be in the woods. They have holes pre-dug.
No witnesses.
You just push a body in and throw them in and everybody, no one's telling. It's one of those.
Yep.
I don't know. Which is fucked up because they actually used to have, like, that was a real thing back in the day. Like,
just warriors to the death?
They used to have, not to the death, but they used to have these weird underground, like, karate tournaments, like, back in like the 50s and 60s, especially in like San Francisco area, because that was like the ground zero of martial arts in the United States was San Francisco for some reason.
Fishing industry,
a lot of Asians, I assume. Fishing industry.
Well,
yes, fishermen love fishermen. I mean, they're all Italians. First of all, the fishermen, they're not fucking Japanese. All the Italians, all the fishermen in San Francisco are guineas and always were. So
okay.
That's not even that. Guineas generally aren't big on karate. So,
correct.
Hey, Vinny, I challenge you.
See that roundhouse, Vinny?
To a kumite in the woods. No, in the woods we're going to go.
Yeah.
I seen your kicks. I think they're bullshit. I'm going to be honest with you. I think one roundhouse, I could take it out. None of this kung fu, taekwondo bullshit. Straight karate. I'm going to take you right down.
I think you're a pussy, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony, I heard what you were saying.
Right.
I got to be honest with you. I fucked your sister, so what do you think about that?
I know you're a pussy. I seen you paint a fence.
Let's do it.
I seen you wax a car.
I seen you do it.
I ain't scared of you.
I ain't scared of you. Let's go. We're going into the woods where we settle it. But Italian guys would just shoot each other like
gentlemen,
like civilized human beings. Have a tournament and fight about it. What the hell is this all about? I got shit to do. I got kids at home. What are you talking about? I got to get out of here. So I got to fill up the propane tank. I told the missus I was grilling tonight. So he just goes through. The reporter's like, whoa, this is amazing. So Ralph says to him, not wait here.
Yeah.
He says, come back in 3 days and get me.
3 days?
3 days.
I don't
it's
even
a 3 day long tournament.
I don't even get to witness to write about it?
No.
I got to now listen to you.
No.
Recount to me?
The fact that I allowed you to take me here and see how I would prepare for a 3 day.
You've already told me too much.
Death tournament.
Yeah.
I think that's enough. I don't want to. It's enough. Like, it's too much. You don't want to really blow people's minds like that. That's the problem, because I don't think you can handle it.
It's already enough for one soul to bear. I don't want two to have it.
You that's the thing. Maybe next time, first you drop me off, you wait 3 days, come back. Next time, maybe you sit outside the woods and wait. Maybe the next time you come halfway down the trail with me.
Sure.
Yeah, a couple of years from now, maybe you can make your way to the Kumite. But now, I don't trust you.
So he takes off.
Mm-hmm. So the reporter is obviously like, sure, I'm game, I guess. I drop.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Dropped him off. So 3 days goes by, and he arrives back there 3 days later, the reporter.
Rafiel is standing there, thumb out, waiting on him.
He's waiting on him.
Yeah.
He's waiting on him, and not like I said, nothing, not even just a bag. No marks on him.
Yeah.
No black eyes. No like cut over his eyes.
Sure.
Nothing that would indicate 3 days of combat.
Okay.
Well, 3 days of combat when you're losing, I guess. I guess if you were dominating the dojo for 3 days, I would assume it would be a different story.
Yeah.
If you were just taking over the fucking the whole thing here, Rafiel's going to dominate, but he's not. So he gets back there. He's got one bag full of camping equipment and one bag. He has a world champion karate trophy.
Oh, he got the trophy.
He got the trophy.
Okay.
So he's got a bag full of trophy and he's got his camping equipment bag. So it says world champion karate. So he's a champion. Mm-hmm. So that's what he did. He won it. The reporter was like, "Oh my God, what happened? What happened to everybody?" And they said, "No, I beat everybody, and that's how it worked. We did our tournament, and I'm the winner, and this is what we do." So
okay.
That's it. And the reporter was like, "Wow, that was a shit story for me to get.
It's going to be a bad column."
Great. I dropped a guy off, and then he came out with a trophy. The end.
Yeah, my editor's going to be pissed at deadline when I come up with this shit.
Any details at all? Nope.
Okay.
Woods Kumite, everybody. That's it. So
never call me for a ride ever again.
That's, this is done here. Yeah. So basically, through this, and then this reporter writes about this, and then through his own exploits, he gains this reputation as a known guy and a guy, he's like this badass guy who's like retired now and all this type of shit. So on March 20th, 1998, he ends up going to a competition that is not in the woods.
Okay.
It's in Abu Dhabi, so there is no woods to go in. It's the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, the ADCC World Championships. It's a grappling tournament, though. This isn't like karate. This isn't MMA. This isn't like
this is
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Built around a whole fucking tournament of it?
Yeah, this is basically wrestling, but like high school wrestling, but, with Jiu-Jitsu shit, but you can't strike, I don't think. I think there's no striking in this.
Well, what the fuck do you do?
You roll around on the ground with another guy. That's what you do.
You hold him hardest?
You put your underwear on and you dry hump another man.
I can't believe tickets sell for that.
I don't think they do. No. I don't think that's no pay-per-views for the all grappling tournament.
That is horrible.
Nobody wants to watch that shit. So boring as fuck. I know if you're like into grappling and you're good at it and you'll go like, oh, look at that defense he just did. That's great. But as far as entertainment value goes,
there's no There's none.
It's not that.
No,
it's not that. It'd be like if you're a mechanic, you're watching somebody rebuild an engine. You'd be like, he did a nice move there. But I mean, it's not entertaining to watch.
Right.
You know, skill is not always entertaining.
I might watch an engine rebuild, but changing oil or change the spark plugs, any of that shit,
it's boring.
I'm not watching.
So this is a grappling tournament. They invite him to it, and he says right away this isn't his thing, grappling, and you know it's not really his forte and all that sort of thing, but he's going to go anyway. He hasn't fought in a long time. He's been retired, but you know, he says, what the fuck? This sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
I'll show up and just have some fun with it. So he fights a guy named Bo Hirschberger. Now, Bo Hirschberger, he's kind of just like a Mr. 50-50, I like to call him here. He his amateur fights, he was like 1 win and 1 loss, and then his pro fights, he's got, 3 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws.
Okay.
So he's just kind of a mediocre guy here. He fights, now his pro fights, 4 of them are grappling bouts, and then he has 3 MMA fights, 1 loss and 2 draws.
Rafiel or the other guy?
The other guy.
Oh, boy.
Bo Hirschberger.
Yeah.
So 1 loss, 2 draws is his MMA record, but this is grappling. He's 3-1 in grappling total.
Okay.
So he's apparently a decent grappler. Rafiel here, this particular fight, he fights him, and they're both big guys, I think big heavyweights and shit like that. This goes under a minute. 58 seconds. Rafiel loses the fight to Bo Hirschberger with a choke and some grappling thing, and so he loses this fight, which doesn't hurt him at all. This isn't his thing anyway, so he was like, it was fun. Sure. Just gave it a shot. He's like, I'm not really a grappler, so you know, it doesn't hurt his rep or anything like that. It's not like he went out and got smoked and knocked out by some guy and whatever, so it's just some weird grappling thing. No big deal.
It's just bizarre.
It's a bizarre thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to Abu Dhabi to grapple with someone is a strange thing to say.
It's a long flight to do something you don't do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like that's his thing.
Right.
It's not. So
No.
I don't know what the hell Rafiel is thinking here. So he actually finally gets a sanctioned MMA fight.
Okay.
But it's not until 2001. So that was 1998. He fights in that, and he continues to just be a journalist and, you know, have his legend of his black belt and his, you know, all that sort of shit and his underground woods kumites and all this type of nonsense. You know, just craziness and underground shit that he talks about. But he has an MMA fight February 24th, 2001 is his big debut, like in front of everybody, MMA style. So this is King of the Cage.
One of those ones,
yeah, we've talked about those a lot before. I believe that's where like they had like Dotzik fighting in there and shit. So they're, who knows what the fuck. Well, this is where it was pouring rain and they were still fighting.
And it was
guys
the King
are
of the
slipping
Cage
all
thing?
over the place. So yeah, that tells you a lot right there.
Well,
I mean, it was a monsoon. It was wild.
But if you can't fight in that, how dare you call yourself the king?
Yeah, come on. You're not the king of this cage.
Get out of here, princess.
King of the Cage, Wet and Wild is what they ended up calling it because it was more like slippery and boring because guys don't want to lose their footing. So that's not, it's not fun.
No.
It's like football is fun to watch in the snow, except for when it's like a little bit of snow and it's just slippery.
Right.
Then guys just tiptoe, and the game's at half speed, and that's not fun.
No.
Once it gets a shitload of snow, then guys are running.
Then it's a blast.
And nobody cares anymore.
Right.
It's fun.
We're all in trouble and we know it.
It's a good time. Yeah, you don't mind falling then because you're falling on snow. So this fight or this event here, there's very little video of this event. Nobody could find a video of the Rafiel fight for some reason. There's videos of other fights from here, clips that I saw. Like I said, I could see it raining and guys trying not to fall down here. So this includes, a bunch of other fights, and especially Rafiel is fighting Ioka Tianu is his name. Big Joe, they call him.
I would too, yeah.
Easier.
Yeah.
Big Joe. This is billed as a grudge match.
Okay.
It's big. It's personal.
Okay.
This is personal, damn it. Rafiel's retired.
He's got enough of Big Joe already.
He's got a bunch of duffel bags full of trophies. He doesn't need this shit exactly. But Big Joe, on the other hand, has crossed him in a way that can only be settled inside of a soaking wet cage.
Okay.
Really. So, Rafiel is, he's retired and all that. He's saying he's going to take his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to the cage, and he says he has issues with Big Joe which is why he's coming out of retirement.
Okay.
Issues with Big Joe. Big Joe apparently is a former student of his, and there's been some shit talking, mister, so it's on now. Okay. I looked up Big Joe's record here, and he's not very good. He's got a 1-3 career record, and
good pick to have a grudge match with.
Never been out of the first round.
Yeah.
You want to see a picture of him?
I do. Oh, he's big as shit.
Does he look like a professional athlete to you?
No, he doesn't.
No.
He looks like everybody knows a guy that looks like that.
You can just go to Arby's and he's sitting there with 5 for $5 something.
Have a water leak on a street. That guy shows up to fix it.
He does. He doesn't look like a professional athlete. He even looks like he's surprised to be there in this picture. He looks like, what the fuck?
Where's the water leak?
I was asked to go to the grocery store, and I don't know what's going on, but
he
they
looks
just
like he has some
called my name.
unattended kids somewhere.
Oh, absolutely, because he's like, my kids are...
Right. They're in the car.
They're in the car. Like, I didn't know this was going to take this long.
Right.
That's the look on his face. And when you look at his stomach, he's a big
he's
fat
big.
fuck.
Yeah. He is big as fuck.
He's and fat.
Right. It's not
muscle
that's
at
not
all.
threatening.
No.
That's just big.
He's a big fat guy who looks confused to be there and looks like they pay him in Arby's probably. We're going to pay you in beef and cheddars, sir.
What do you say to 7 beef and cheddars?
How about it? I say I'll fight that guy for it.
I say that's cheaper than Jim Jones killed people for.
Yeah, it is. In the end, it's going to come out cheaper, even with tax. So he's fighting Big Joe. He's ready to take on this guy and settle a grudge.
Okay.
Grace. This is Grace here. He's got an amazing reputation. Everybody thinks he's a badass, and he's, all this stuff, and he's going to teach this guy a lesson in front of everybody.
And he's
that's Grace.
Woods Kumite champion.
World Woods Karate champion.
Yes.
Champion of the Woods. I'm the champion of the Woods, everybody. Look at me.
World Woods Federation.
So the fight actually starts, and that's why it's Grace before the fight starts. During the fight, basically, they just don't throw punches at each other. They just walk around for a little bit. Doesn't look like either of them apparently particularly have any interest in being there or fighting. They look like they're getting to know each other. But not on a fighting level, like I'm feeling this guy out. More like, hey, I might take this guy out for dinner later. I'm going to get to know him.
Yeah.
I'm going to dance with him a bit here. So apparently, within the first few seconds, Rafiel throws a few punches, and one he hits him once, and Rafiel steps back, and he's kind of waiting for Big Joe to come at him, and apparently he backs off of Big Joe after he hits him a couple times, and then Big Joe puts him kind of tackles him and gets on top of him in a way that was very awkward. Everybody said it was a very weird it was a very weird thing. Rafiel hit him and then took a step back and then stood there, and then the guy came and tackled him. It was like, what the hell just happened there?
Okay.
Very strange. Okay. So they roll around on the ground while that's is going on. Big Joe's on top. Rafiel moves him off, and there's a little of this shit.
A little commotion.
At some point, apparently, Big Joe kind of, from what everybody said, kind of sticks his leg out, not in a kick way, but just like here's my leg. And so Rafiel grabs his leg and puts him in a knee bar where they say the knee wasn't even extended. His leg was bent, so it was like, what the hell's going on? And Big Joe gave up.
Big Joe had had enough.
And that was it.
It was real uncomfortable.
Yeah, apparently, he was striking him. Rafiel was striking him a few times, and it looked like shit. And then there was the knee bar, and everyone was like, that was the worst fucking submission move I've ever seen. What the hell just happened there? What the fuck is going on? Everyone was like, that was ugly.
Yeah.
So post-fight, after the fight, he said that he's very smug, Rafiel, in the interview, saying, see, I told you I was a badass. That didn't take very long, because the fight was, I want to say, it was a minute and 56 seconds.
To get his leg. And half knee bar him.
So he's like, see, I told you who I am. I'm a bad motherfucker. That's why I'm 14-0.
Right.
In my whole shit.
Call it 15.
That's it. And now we'll call it 15. He said, now, since I'm in my late 30s here and I settled my beef, now I'm definitely retired.
Okay.
With that, I've proven myself. And after the event, of course, he's bragging online a lot. I whooped this guy's ass. I told you, blah, 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 whatever. So he does that sort of shit. Now, this is a story, I guess, apparently, Eddie Bravo had trained with him at this point, and this is why Joe Rogan and him know this story and all this type of shit. So it's at this point where after everybody looks at the fight, they're like, that wasn't that's
not on the up and up.
That wasn't on the up and up, basically. Not that look the shit. Neither of those guys are good fighters. He hit him and then waited for him to tackle him and then hit him weakly, and then the guy gave him his leg, and then he submitted when he wasn't even in the hold all the way.
Right.
So
we've all been duped. That's
a bad wrestling match is what we just watched. Like, that was not a fucking real fight.
Okay.
What the fuck just happened here, basically?
And then he retired.
So, yeah, he's like, what the fuck? So apparently, I guess Eddie Bravo was calling him going, dude, what are you, did you stage a fucking fight? Like, pissed at him, hung up on him. Like, there's all this beef with people and shit. That's what it says in this one article I found. So, what the fuck is the story with this guy? Mm-hmm. You got to wonder what the fuck the story is. Well, the funny thing is we discover in the end, turns out that he's not a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt.
No.
Yeah, there's no Kumite Woods tournaments. No, I'm sure he made that trophy and then put it in a thing. There's no, and this isn't like I made this up. Like,
this isn't cheese murders
this isn't cheese murders and tennis clogs
and Lily. What was it? Lily Vine tennis rackets?
I think so. Yeah, no, it was tulips.
Tulip
strand. Yeah. Tulip vine.
That's not, you didn't make this part up.
I didn't make any of this up. He made all this up.
Oh, that's why it's shit.
He made up his entire thing.
Really?
His entire reputation. Oh, he also wasn't a Navy SEAL either, so he lied about that.
Valor thief.
Matter of fact, his dad never taught him Brazilian jiu-jitsu because his dad's not even fucking Brazilian. And as a matter of fact, because his dad's not Brazilian, his fucking name isn't Rafiel Torre even.
What is it?
None of this is true.
Where's his dad?
None of the whatever he said isn't true, other than hi. Outside of that, once he says hello, the rest of it not true. His real name is Ralph Bartel.
Yeah.
So not Rafiel, not Torre, not anything. Ralph Bartel. Yeah. So from now on, we're going to call him Rafiel for the rest of the episode. Rafiel.
Yeah.
Because that's who he's claiming to be here. So he's full of shit.
Yeah.
And this brings it out. Once he does a fight and everybody sees that was a joke, he's full of shit. Everybody knows he's lying.
Why would you do that?
Yep, they start calling him on his shit and start asking for more details that he doesn't have and blah, 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 blah. And then it turns out he's just a fucking liar.
He exposed himself.
He's just he just made up a huge backstory.
Oh, boy.
And he didn't realize that the internet would turn into what it is to where people could actually check on shit.
Oh, no.
Because when he was coming up, the internet was just a place where you could make shit up and spread it to more people. That's all. And then it turned into, then after a while, people could actually look up your shit on there. So that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
He didn't realize, he just used it as, this is like a big telling everyone in the playground.
This is dangerous.
My bullshit.
Yeah.
So he's really Ralph Bartel, and he just doing his thing. He that's his only fight because he's not a real fighter.
Right.
So he only fights one fight where he has to fix it because the other fight he lost in under a minute in the grappling fight when the guy
where the guy didn't even hit him.
No, he just fucking he choked him out. I guess
submitted him right.
So Rafiel here kind of has to put his life back together. But the thing is, everyone knows he's a phony, but he still has friends in the business, and he still has buddies he hangs out with who are fighters, and
it doesn't make his
very weird.
It doesn't make his opinions of fighting less, does it? You know what I mean?
I guess not, but you wouldn't want it from him because I guess if you're a liar, even
today,
right down to your name and your background.
Right. Today, if this happens, it's over for you.
Yeah,
you're homeless.
Yeah. Your audience is abandoning you. You're done.
Quit. Yeah, you duped them, and they feel like dicks.
But he just goes on with his life like nothing happened. Lives and loves. So that was February 2001. By August of 2001, he's kind of got MMA out of his system. He's not going to fight anymore. He's retired, as we know. But like I said, he still hangs out with these people, and he's hanging out. He goes to a nightclub in August of 2001, and he meets a lady.
In California?
Oh, yeah, San Diego.
Oh, boy.
Meets a lady.
Hell yeah, he does. Over there at In Cahoots.
Oh, you know it. Imagine the lies he told her.
I can't imagine.
If he told guys lies, imagine what he tells women. Wow. And that's just for adoration. That's not for, like, to come. Like, imagine what he says.
That's just to get her to accept this drink.
Imagine what he says to actually, to fucking jizz near somebody. Near, in, or on somebody. It's got to be remarkable, the lies he fucking tells. So, he meets a woman named Angelina.
Okay.
So, Angelina Richards, he meets out at the club.
Yeah.
And, that sounds nice, right? That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a liar and all that, but you want a nice love story. This is good, right?
It's going to help.
Are you happy for him?
A little.
A little happy for him, right? Problem is, Angelina Richards is married to Brian Richards.
Oh, no.
That's the issue. Angelina's already married. So, he's kind of barking up the wrong tree here. But
it's not good.
No, it's bad. It's bad on all fronts.
Yeah.
Angelina and Brian have been married since 1998.
Okay.
So, they have a relationship here, and as we go through it, they've had a little bit of a rocky marriage, but nothing terrible. Okay. I mean, I guess everybody, whenever you say a little bit of a rocky marriage, that's everybody.
That's a marriage.
Yeah, people
It's
fight.
called two lives cohabitating. It's brutal.
It's a crazy idea. So, 2001, Brian Richards gets a life insurance policy from Nationwide in the amount of $1 million.
It's on your side.
It's on your side. Well, not until September of that year. They're not on your side. So it kicks in September of 2001.
Okay.
Basically.
Oh,
so, yeah.
It's a bad time for... No.
Maybe a good time, depending.
They might be very broke at that time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We got a lot of payouts to make. So the policy names Angela as the primary beneficiary, and people also that he knows as the alternate beneficiaries. So that's what's going on with Angelina. Now, Angelina at the same time is fucking Rafiel.
Yeah.
So they become pretty. This happens pretty fast, where they are like an item.
Okay.
Which is, it's not like a nightclub one night hookup. They like
continue this.
Yeah, from August into September, they continue this whole relationship. They become romantic. Now, Angelina will say that they weren't romantic during this time. They're just friends.
Okay.
Which,
all right.
Married people don't hang out with friends they meet at nightclubs.
Right.
They just don't. Of the opposite sex.
You don't meet people at nightclubs.
No. No. If you're married, you're like, I'm not going to talk to this person because they're going to try to fuck me.
Clearly trying to fuck. We're in a nightclub.
So, exactly. So, apparently during this time, though, the fall of 2001, Angelina's having some problems in her marriage.
Happens.
Yeah. She told her friends that Brian had brought up getting a divorce.
Okay.
And that Angelina and during the same time, Angelina and Rafiel were seen together all the time and suggesting in a manner like they're basically acting like they're together. People, if you see them, you're like, oh, that's a couple. They're holding hands and kissing and doing all that shit. And clearly they're having an affair. Marriage isn't going well.
Yeah.
This is how this is going. So September 2001 comes around. All right. Now, September 2001, Angelina loans Rafiel $10,000. Okay. So he found himself a lady that will fuck him and then give him thousands of dollars. I don't know what kind of game this guy's running, but
it's a fascinating way that her and her husband have set up their finances.
That's the other thing too.
She can disappear $10,000 and have no questions.
No questions. Not a question, and just be like, yeah, I gave it to some fucking phony MMA fighter who bones me.
Right.
In a secret kumite. It's a fuck kumite in the woods. It's a fuck kumite. So, October 2001, she co-signs a lease for Torre as well.
Yeah.
Wow. They met in August.
How do you...
Wow, you're financially tying yourself to a person you met 2 months ago at a nightclub? What the fuck is going on here? Yeah.
A San Diego apartment?
It's a commercial space.
Okay.
Even more money.
A San Diego commercial space.
To start a martial arts studio.
She's out of her mind.
So it's got to have some square footage in it. So this is probably pricey, I would
How
imagine.
good does he fuck versus what story has he told her?
Man, he must slinging some dick.
Truly. That, along with the story that he must have told her to make her have confidence in him as a businessman.
I'm 14-0. I win world champion karate kumites in the woods. I think that's what he's telling her pretty much.
He's got to.
Yeah, I really
and there
think
has
that.
to be more, because that's not enough. You won 14 fights and you think you're going to be a businessman?
He's going to be an instructor, martial arts studio.
Okay.
The property manager who rented them this, he says that it was just Angelina and Rafiel. Brian Richards was nowhere to be seen throughout this. They never mentioned, and never mentioned that she was married or anything like that. It was just, hi, I'm Angelina, and I'm co-signing for this guy.
Okay.
That was it. So enter a close friend of Rafiel, Gerald Strebent. Yeah, sounds like a tough guy, right? Yeah. Gerald, he actually is a tough guy.
Goes by Jerry.
Jerry, yeah. You could see Gerald Strebent and you go, that sounds like a pussy. And then you read who he is and you go, oh, God, that's not a pussy at all. He's actually a professional fighter, martial arts instructor, and former Marine sniper.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, he's a
killer.
He's a dangerous man. He's a very dangerous
he's
man.
An actual murderer.
Yeah, he's actually probably shot at least at people.
Probably.
And if he's good, he hit them. So
you generally don't hire a sniper based on his word that he'll do it.
I mean, I'll take a shot at it.
He's probably proved it, and then they're like, yeah, we'll keep you.
I'll take a shot at it. I mean, whatever. So he's a close friend of Rafiel here, as we'll call him. Now, he's an instructor as well, and he's trying to get into MMA. He's not into it yet, or he just gets into it in 2001. This is how Rafiel kind of gets to know him, and he's also a trainer, an instructor, and shit like that. So his record, I looked at his fighting record. He's got a 9-7 career MMA record. Okay. So he's had some fights. He won his first, then lost one, then won 3 in a row, lost one. He fought, I believe, he fought Charles Bennett.
No shit.
Fuck yeah.
Crazy Horse.
He fought Crazy Horse and lost to him.
A man who hates his own nickname.
That's the guy. Oh my God, we talked about this.
Did we? We talked about Gerald?
Fucking talked about him because he lost to Crazy Horse on a submission from punches. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where we were like, what do you just go, stop hitting me! Enough already!
Right.
The ref didn't stop it. He said, no, he's hitting me too much. Stop! Make him stop.
Submission from punches is usually a fucking knockout.
That's a knockout.
But this guy took it standing up and was like, I can't do it.
The guy give up. Please stop hitting me. Can you make him stop hitting me?
He's punching me. We can do that?
He keeps hitting me. He won't stop. I want to hit him back, and he won't stop hitting me. I can't hit him till he stops hitting me.
Well, Mike, my plan was to submit him.
Ah, shit.
And all he's doing is punching.
He just keeps hitting me. So that's the story of what's happening here.
Yeah.
That's amazing that it all comes full circle here. It really does. But his whole career is kind of that. Loses to Bennett, then he wins 2 more fights, loses another one, wins 2 more, loses 3, wins 1. He's that kind of guy. Beerbaum? We fought a guy named Beerbaum.
Beerbaum.
B-O-H-M.
Oh.
Beerbaum. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting name, I guess, here. But yeah, that's wild. He fought Crazy Horse. Wow.
That's awesome.
That changes everything.
It really does.
For some reason. I don't know why. It really does.
It makes him a complete cartoon character.
Yes, he does. And one of his submissions was, it says here, submission, twister. I've never seen that move before.
I don't know what that is.
I've never seen.
Did he spin him around?
That's what I mean.
Like a merry-go-round, grab his arms?
Right foot blue. And the guy's like, fuck, I can't. Never mind. Submit. I submit. I won't stretch that far. Yeah. I guess I submit now. Submitted him with a wicked twister move. Left hand green. Got you, motherfucker. Give up. Now you got to give up.
Or did he grab an arm and a leg like when you were a kid and helicopter him?
Maybe helicopter
throw him out of the ring?
Into the cage, probably, I would assume, and that did it.
That's
the end of it. I'm not sure. And the guy gave up halfway through it. Let me go. Yeah. I'm getting sick.
I like the idea that the round was sponsored by Twister, and the whole mat was just
Twister. So that's the way I pictured it. Yeah,
I like that much better.
Yeah.
And the ref's just spinning.
He's spinning. The announcer's just right foot green. Left hand yellow.
And they cover him in baby oil and let him go.
Yeah. The announcers are like really getting it. Can he do it? I don't know, man. That yellow is pretty far. He's got a 73-inch reach. That's a plus. So, I mean, he's going to be able to reach the yellow a little bit better. But you picture with the other greasy adult man's body in his way. I don't know if
he can get through the legs.
Extra leverage. It's going to be difficult. So, he's won a lot and lost a lot, mostly by submission, it looks like. God, submission. He wins and loses by submission every single fight, pretty much, except for he lost one here by KO with the punches. Someone knocked the shit out of him at UFC 44.
Oh.
So he fought, he made his way all the way to UFC. It looks like I only see one UFC event, but UFC 44, he fought Josh Thompson. I don't know who that is.
And they're at like UFC 194 right now.
Yeah.
They fucking jam them through.
40. This
was just like 6 months ago.
This was 2016. No, this was September 2003.
Okay.
So, he was back there. Then he goes to Cage Warriors and Cage Rage and Extreme Challenge and all sorts of like
Rage, Extreme, and Cage.
Overfought hyperbolic words mixed with Cage and Fight and,
and
Challenge and Extreme. So, they're buddies, basically. They hang out together, and I feel like Rafiel probably feels good having Gerald around.
Sure.
Like, he's everything I say I am.
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
And this is 2001. This is prior to him going to the UFC, so this is like an up-and-comer, too.
Oh, yeah. He does
have that guy with you.
His first fight is April 21st, 2001. So as of, let's say post-September after they were, he's hooked up with Angelina, he's had like 5 fights so far.
Awesome.
He's like 4-1, and he's kicking some ass. So now December 21st, 2001. Let's talk about that. All right. So Angelina and Rafiel have been together for 4 months, maybe. Yeah. Pretty new stuff here. So it's about 11 p.m. on December 21st. Holidays, very nice. Angelina calls Brian's brother's wife, her sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian's brother's name, by the way, we'll get it out of the way, is Keith Richards.
Is it really?
His name is Keith Richards.
Unbelievable.
Yes. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So
you kind of have to at that point.
Yeah.
If your last name's Richards, one of your kids is going to be Keith.
Probably, and I think he might have been born like before Keith Richards was famous. Too.
Really?
So this is 2001. The guy's in his 40s. So yeah, if he
might be,
he was born in the late 50s, early 60s. No one who knew who the fuck Keith Richards was.
Yeah.
Even if you knew the Stones in the early 60s, you didn't know them by their names.
No,
you just knew that the Rolling Stones.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, he's Keith Richards, and he's like, fuck.
And that's the only two that matter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nick and him.
That's it. Yeah. The other nobody knows everybody else.
Anybody could say I'm in the Rolling Stones. I'm just not Mick or Keith.
Really? Any old scraggly man could say that.
I'll believe it.
I would too.
Sight unseen,
as long as you're scraggly.
I will not do any research. I believe it.
As long as you're skinny and scraggly.
Right. How much coke and blow and heroin and
I would like a British accent probably as well.
Yeah,
that's going to help.
There better be a little bit of that.
Otherwise, I'm probably not going to believe you at that point. So, Jesus Christ.
Coke and blow, I said.
Coke and blow, both of them. And meth and speed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some of that too. Gotta get that in there.
Better get
Coke
your weed and
marijuana.
marijuana.
And speed. Get me some weed and some fucking bud, please. Yeah. So Angelina calls Keith Richards' wife, Lisa Richards, here and says, I don't know where Brian is. Yeah. I don't know where my husband is. You know where he is? I don't know where he is. It's 11 o'clock at night. I haven't seen him.
Her old man.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Have you seen do you know where your husband is at? And she doesn't.
Okay.
Why don't they do those commercials anymore? Kids are still out. They haven't done those since we were like 5.
Yeah, they're so great.
We were like 5, and that was it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Well, that was started with the Atlanta child murders, right?
I think it did.
I think it was.
And then it went away, though. Yeah. That was like in the 80s, and then
we pretend that kids aren't being murdered every day.
Yeah, we're just like, they're fine. We put them on a milk carton now, so it should be good. And it culminated with one of the best Wu-Tang lyrics of all time.
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock, ho. Where the fuck's your seat at? That's my favorite. It's a Rizzle. It's 10 o'clock, ho. Where the fuck's your seat at?
Okay. What does that mean?
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Oh, your seed. I was
it's
like,
10 o'clock. Oh, where the fuck's your seat at? Think about it.
I thought you said seat. I'm like, what does that mean? Sit on my lap? Sit on my face?
You know where your shit is?
Got it.
It's one of the greatest.
10 o'clock, ho.
It's 10 o'clock, ho. Where the fuck's your seat at?
Unbelievable.
It's a great Rizzle lyric. It's obviously, not nice, but it's fucking funny. So, anyway, Angelina also calls Keith Richards and tells him that Brian had planned to go to a warehouse to pick up Christmas gifts stored there. That's what she says the next morning. right after she calls the police as well to report Brian missing.
Okay.
Apparently, he was supposed to go pick up Christmas presents and come back, and he just never came back.
Yeah, well,
and it's like,
can't always get what you want.
You can't always get what you want. That's what Keith told her on the phone. She said, listen here, Angelina.
You sure he isn't out getting some brown sugar? I don't know.
He could be. He really could be. We're not sure. You know what?
Over here, I provide no shelter for him.
I'll tell you what. If he doesn't come home, just take all his shit and paint it all black. Just paint it black. Fuck it. Get rid of it. Say, get off my property, monkey man. I'm not dealing with you.
I hope he answers everything in Rolling Stones quotes.
My brother's missing. Well, start me up. That sounds terrible. Jesus Christ. Oh, no.
Great.
Start me up. I have to go now. Listen here, Ruby Tuesday. Calm down. Okay? Okay.
It's so deep. It can go
well, it made 75 albums. It could just go forever and ever.
It's got to be his favorite thing ever because it's been going for so long. It's just infinite. Jesus Christ. He's got to be so thankful he's named after that guy.
We're going to spend the next hour of the show just saying the responses that Keith may have had to Angelina when she called to tell her his brother was missing.
Thank God he's not named after Millie or Vanilli.
Oh, God. Listen.
All he'd have is blame it on the rain.
I'm going to say, listen, you're just going to have to blame it on the rain. I don't know what to tell you.
You say that after everything, Millie.
I don't know. It's all I got. What was the other song they had?
Oh, yeah, they did have one more.
They had a couple
Something about music, wasn't it? Like,
Something about
No, I feel
like there was like music in the background.
No, I feel like it was like something like get the party started or music started or something.
They had like a slow jam.
Is that what it was?
They had a slow jam, and they had there was like 3 Milli Vanilli songs that were big.
Either way,
I just remember if you say Milli Vanilli, I just picture two guys running in place because that's all they ever did. That was their big move. I run in place,
right? Synchronized next to each other.
Synchronized space running. Look at our hair; it moves around.
I'm darker than him.
We have bike shorts on for some reason. That was the whole.
We both wear really tight bandanas around our face.
Cool, right?
Yeah, we're the best.
All right, yeah. Well, handsome guys running in place. That's how you become a star.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Well, they're not quite handsome enough to run in place. What about those two? Now that's a Milli Vanilli if I've ever seen one.
Isn't Blame It on the Rain the slow one? I feel like that's the ballad.
Yeah, but they had a couple of them. They had that one, and then they had...
God damn it. I don't know. I'd have to Google it. That's a bummer. I don't want to do
Milli
that.
Vanilli
Are you going to do it?
I think
You're going to do it.
I got to know what that other song was, and I'm really upset about it.
It feels to me like it's something about music or jams or some shit like that. Do you know what I mean? No? There's nothing there.
No?
Does it show up? What is it?
Oh, that's right.
What is it?
Girl, you know it's true.
There you go.
Girl, you know it's true.
Yeah, that's the fast one.
And then Baby, Don't Forget My Number, which I remember too.
Also slow.
Very bad. No, that was... it was like a medium.
Oh, that's
it was annoying. It was a bad one.
In my head, I hear Genesis anyway.
Yeah, no, it's
Phil Collins.
Yeah. No, that was a bad, like, kind of wannabe club song.
Yeah.
Shit. God, they sucked. So
how did we let them be famous?
I don't know. They were handsome guys that ran in place.
That's
what I mean.
Weren't bad looking dudes.
In 1988, all you had to do was be handsome and run in place.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to know how to sing or do anything. Now you don't know how to sing either because they can just make you sound like they could have taken those guys. That's the shame part of it.
It really is.
Those guys. They disgraced them. They took the one guy just, went into a complete shit thing of drugs and
took their Grammys from them, didn't they?
Took their Grammys back, made them like the biggest villains in the world.
Right.
All of this type of shit.
Fault. It's the record label.
Yeah, they just hired those guys. What two dancers wouldn't take a job like that?
Of course.
Like, I'm going to make you world famous. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever.
That's what they do to everybody.
But they could have taken two guys that spoke mostly just German and they can auto-tune them into Milli Vanilli nowadays and they could have just ran in place and it would have been fine. Shame. They're just ahead of their time.
Yeah. And most of those people that sing it, like the Super Bowl and shit like that, they're not auto-tuned. They don't have any studio shit. They sound terrible.
Yeah,
most people sound like shit singing.
Sound bad.
That's a problem.
Back in the day, I'm talking like in the 60s and shit, you'd have to go, like if you listen to like an old soul album, go listen to like an Aretha Franklin or some shit like that. She had to go into the studio and fucking nail it. That's it. There was no... You nailed it.
75 takes until you do it.
You
sit here all day.
You kicked the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful because there's old songs that have certain little hitches and voices that are not intentional, but that was the best fucking take.
Yeah.
But it makes it real and you feel like you're more connected to the person. It's not this perfect weird computer voice that's coming out that sounds like like a cartoon theme
not a
song.
person.
Sounds like a cartoon theme song.
And it's coming out of their mouth. What the fuck is that?
It's so strange, dude.
It's so terrible.
I don't like it. So
makes us sound old.
It does. I don't like.
In my day, you had to sing to sing.
Well, that was way before our day.
I know.
I was talking. Even in our day, you didn't have to sing to sing.
That's true.
I'm talking about fucking this. Like the '60s and shit. Like I wasn't anywhere near the '60s. Christ, we're not that old.
But it makes us sound like we're saying that.
It does. It does. It's even worse. We're like back in before our day.
Right.
I'll tell you what I missed, the Victrola. Like, what are we doing?
All this
people who had that, they were the lucky ones.
All this convenience of putting the key in your car and starting it.
Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
We should have to go out there and crank it. Go crank it up like an airplane. Wind it like a watch, mister.
Yeah, a plane used to do that.
Yeah. Go out front and wind up the plane, please.
A man used to have to do that in front of our fucking soldiers.
Then he thumbs up and they'd run out of the way.
It's running. Is it?
We could tell by the.
I can tell by all the black soot in my face
that's
now.
All I could tell. You know how that goes. So, fuck, man.
Sorry.
No,
this was
sorry.
Such a long tangent. We went so far.
You know what? Who cares?
Let's get back.
He's fake, so why not?
Okay.
So anyway, Angelina, Keith Richards. The guy's name is Keith Richards. We can't help it. We're only human, for fuck's sake. So she calls the police on December 22nd to report Brian missing, then calls Keith Richards and says, hey, Brian planned to go to a warehouse to pick up Christmas gifts that were stored there. Can you please check the warehouse?
Okay.
Maybe he fell asleep on a pile of gifts.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. So Keith did so. He went there, but he didn't see that Brian had been anywhere near there anytime soon or anytime recently. There was no sign of Brian.
Got it.
He didn't come here last night. So sometime that afternoon, Brian's brothers, Keith and Matthew Richards, visited Angelina at the house.
Yeah.
Angelina was drinking wine with a friend of hers. Mm-hmm. She was hanging out having a ladies' night with a female friend. drinking some wine.
Sounds nice.
Which is what you do when your husband's missing.
Generally. I mean, you got to take the edge off and take all the anxiety out of the equation.
True. Not just late, like police notified missing. You just go, you want to come over and have a glass of wine?
There's a difference between doing that on your lonesome and then having a fucking wine party.
You know, that's the thing. Right. Like you're having a friend over, you're discussing. It's like, well, so we opened a box of Franzia. What's the problem? Right. It's like, listen. There's an issue there.
You're missing somebody.
This is not a good thing. So now she was like sitting on the porch by herself with like a bottle of wine in her hand, drinking. She's distraught.
Right.
But her and her friend at a table just seem like they're
standing out there, not even sitting, just standing, leaning against the post in inside-out sweatpants.
You know, eating cheese.
That's fine.
That would be
that
okay.
I accept.
Inside with like hors d'oeuvres on the table.
She's got a goddamn charcuterie.
This isn't okay.
Some olives.
She cut meat for this. Right. She sliced vegetables. I don't care for this. So they end up, these two, Keith and Matthew, visit Angelina at home, find her drinking wine with a friend. Keith says that at that point, he notices Brian's, on the kitchen table is a binder.
Yeah.
And it is Brian's insurance policy binder.
It's already out.
Which is on the table already, which is... He's been gone like 24 hours. Like, you just called the cops. And she's like, well, let's see what the insurance has to say about this.
Where's his folio?
That's a little aggressive, I think, on that. But whatever. I mean,
quick move.
You've got to cross your T's, dot your I's. So Keith asked Angelina if she had found Brian's life insurance policy, and she said she didn't. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, I saw it. He didn't say that, but he did it just to see what she would say, and she said no. And he was like, okay. And then later on, the policy binder was moved to the top of the washing machine in the laundry room.
Yeah.
That's where he found it later on. So she's looking through it and doesn't want people to know she's looking through it, which is, you know, if you're the guy's brother, you're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And it's also partially hidden under a pile of clothes.
Oh.
So it's not just thrown somewhere. Right. It's placed under something, and just trying not to let anyone see it after she had it in, plain sight on the kitchen table. So at some point, Keith asks Angelina, where is Brian's white utility truck? I don't see it. And, where is it? And she said that my friend has it. My friend, Rafiel.
Yeah.
Rafiel has it. So Brian apparently had let Rafiel drive the truck in the past. Okay. Had lent it to him for certain shit. I don't know what the hell he's doing with it, but whatever. So Keith Richards, he asks Angelina to call Rafiel and ask him to bring the truck back.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rafiel comes, and Matthew goes to the truck's lockbox. It's a utility truck, so it's got one of those lock boxes.
On the side.
There you go. Goes to the truck's lockbox and to check for Brian's Glock, which is there. He's got a gun in there.
Jesus.
That he keeps in his deal. I don't know why.
Is that legal in San Diego?
I'm sure it's not.
I don't think that is.
To keep it just in a locked utility truck?
I don't know gun laws across this country, but that seems a smidge.
Either way, it seems willy-nilly just to keep it in there, I feel like.
Just in the driveway?
Yeah,
that's
just
crazy.
In a block box, you get in an accident. Right. So I don't know. It just seems odd. Seems like an odd place.
Smidge reckless.
You could get hit and the box could come open and a gun could go flying into the street. I feel like that's probably a bad thing for, I don't know, anybody. Yeah. I don't think it's probably good. So... weird place to do it. So anyway, he checks. The gun is gone now. It's not in the lockbox. But, I mean, he doesn't know if Brian took it out for some reason. Or
we don't even know where Brian is.
We don't even know where the fuck he is. Right. So, yeah, how would we know? So, that's how this goes. Keith then says while he and Matthew were outside near the truck, Angelina and Rafiel spoke to each other in the doorway of the house. I guess Rafiel ended up leaving with Brian's utility truck after Angelina said for the first time, this is all of a sudden now she comes up with this. They let Rafiel takes the truck again, so they brought it back. Gun's missing, and he's like, I don't know. They let him go away. Now, after this conversation, Angelina goes into the driveway to talk to Keith and Brian and tells them Matthew. Matthew. Yeah. Brian is there. Right. Yeah. Anyway, he's missing. Goes to talk to Keith and Matthew. These are confusing people.
It's a lot of people.
And Angelina tells them that Brian had gone to the store to buy firewood last night too. Okay. So that was also, he was going to the warehouse and he was also going to the store to get firewood. So Angelina asks him to search for Brian at nearby grocery stores. Maybe he's still looking for firewood. sometimes they're out. You know what I mean? You gotta
listen. When I was married, I hated to come home without having whatever I was sent out for.
That's what I mean. You just go. He could still be going grocery store to grocery store.
Keep looking.
Could be a really long night, even though he could have felled the Joshua Tree forest by now and dragged it back home with him. But still,
I'd rather come home with the product 5 hours late than come home without it.
At least I had it. And with a harrowing tale, maybe you can get some sympathy out of it.
But don't worry, I've got the firewood.
I've got firewood. So, now Angela said, please go, search for him by grocery stores. Just go to the grocery stores around here and see if he's there.
Yeah.
Hanging out, moving into the grocery store, I guess. I don't know. So Keith and Matthew
waiting on the stock.
I don't know. Yeah. They said the wood guy's coming soon.
They said he's coming on Tuesday. I told him I'm not leaving until I get it.
I'll wait. He's just pulled up in the loading zone out in front of the place and up on the green curb, just hanging.
Well, the Glock in his waistband, apparently.
There you go. Hanging out.
I'll wait.
I really want your firewood. You have the best firewood. So Keith and Matthew, they leave the house about 9 p.m. to go check the local grocery stores. Okay. This is it's been a fucking day here. 24 hours, a little long. So about 20 minutes later, there's an Albertsons there, West Coast grocery chain. Might be East Coast too, but I don't know. I've only seen it in California and Arizona so far.
One of the better ones.
So Albertsons isn't bad. It's not terrible. Yeah. AJ's is good.
AJ's is amazing.
Yeah, it's expensive.
I can't afford it.
No, that's
nice.
the thing. It's nice to go there. When you want something specific that you can get that one time, though, you're like, I'm going to go to AJ's and get that. You're like, yeah.
When I'm going to have bison burgers for like 12 people, I'll go pick it up there and walk out with just bison and be like, I could have had all that wine that all those people are having. Look at the nice cheeses.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's expensive. One thing they do have there.
Every dime I have on 8 pounds of bison.
8 pounds of bison. I just spent my rent money on 8 pounds of bison. This isn't good. You can get big giant bones there cheap. If you go to their butcher,
for dogs,
they'll give you like a giant bone for like $3.
Oh, that's awesome.
With there's like fucking meat on it. It's a giant bone. Yeah, for dogs.
Great.
It's really cool. We used to do it for our dogs until Frankie ended up like.
That was your affordable thing you could get, AJ?
Yeah, that was our thing. It wasn't even for us. Right. It was for the goddamn dog.
Can I have your scraps, please, AJ's?
Sarah would come home with an AJ's bag. You'd be like, ooh, what did we get? And it's like, it's dog.
Not for you.
Shit.
Yeah,
mind.
Yeah, I did get some nice stuff at AJ's. Right, Frankie?
Never mind. How's that doing, Frankie?
I'm going to sit over here with my fries burgers.
Disgusting fries burgers. Yeah. So there's an Albertsons supermarket nearby, and they spot Brian's other pickup truck that he drives. So they spot it in there. So they obviously pull in, go, holy shit, there's his truck.
That's great.
This is a surprise. Maybe he's waiting on firewood, like hardcore.
Right.
So they go in there. They don't see him sitting in the truck. There's nobody in the in the cab of the truck. So they're like, okay. They get out of the car, obviously, to go look over the truck and see what the fuck, see what the hell's going on. Is there any signs of what's, you leave a trail of breadcrumbs?
Yeah.
They look in the window of the truck, nothing doing. He's not like sleeping on the seat of the cab.
Okay.
They look in the bed of the truck, and they find Brian.
Oh.
He is dead in the back of his truck.
Not waiting on wood.
He might have waited too long.
Yeah.
You never know. I think maybe that's what it was. He waited a little too long for the wood.
Yeah.
Just exposed to the elements. He is in the bed of his truck, lying there dead.
Unbelievable.
From the looks of it, they don't know what happened, but it turns out he's been strangled and dumped in the back of his pickup truck.
Oh, no.
The medical examiner testifies later on that his hyoid bone was broken. That's located in the throat.
That's a strangle.
It's a big indicator of a strangle. The break did not cause his death. The examiner said that Brian died of non-ligature manual strangulation.
Oh, no.
And opined that a chokehold must have been applied to his neck for several minutes.
Oh, good dude.
Like a manual chokehold.
Right.
You'd have to know how to put a chokehold on somebody to...
Yeah.
You'd really have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, not even like a hand. It's a lot. Manual is...
Fuck yeah.
That takes a long time. There's no signs of a struggle or marks on Brian's body consistent with defensive wounds either. So they're thinking this has to probably be from an attack from behind, because an attack from the front, if somebody put their hands on your throat, you would grab their face, and then there would be something to where you would have a there'd be a struggle ensuing. If someone grabs your throat from the front, what the fucking first thing you're doing is trying to punch them in the nose.
Unless they are unbelievably longer than you, you at least have them within arm's reach.
Exactly, unless I'm strangling you,
right,
or something of that nature. It's
and even still with a strangle,
with a strangle,
you're on the throat.
You have that extra arm. You're going to throw at it. There's a struggle
kick you at least.
That's what I mean. You can get to somebody, but there's no apparently any signs of any of that. So the police are thinking possibly this must have come from the backside, which is not the side you usually see. Manual strangulations. Strangulations are usually on top choking,
front, with the thumbs on the larynx.
That's the usual thing, other than it would be someone very specific that would get someone from behind and choke them to death that way.
Right.
They'd have to know what they're doing as well. Weird thing.
Sure.
Obviously. So that's the deal. Now, the day after this, December the 23rd, Merry Christmas, everybody. Sheriff's detectives talked to Angela and other members of Brian's family, and they talked to Rafiel. They talked to Matthew. They talked to Keith Richards.
Angelina, correct?
Angelina, yeah. They talked to Angelina, Rafiel, everybody. So they asked Angelina about life insurance, and she says that Brian had life insurance, but she didn't know the amount of the death benefit. She's like, I don't know what it is. Meanwhile, she knows exactly what it is. She's had the fucking book out since he was missing for 12 hours.
She's been wandering around with it like it's the secret.
Yeah, that's it. She's been carrying it. She's got a backpack she keeps it in. So Angelina tells the detectives that one time Brian, her husband, had been involved with a man named Thomas Esparza. This was in a scheme, apparently, involving the receipt and sale of stolen medical equipment. Brian sells medical equipment. That's his business.
That's a big business.
They make pretty good money. That's why she's able to give $10,000 and nobody really notices. So I guess if you're selling medical equipment, that's happened. We've seen this a lot where somebody will get a big giant supply of bum pacemakers and sell them out just to get rid of them. They get a cheap supply and sell them, and then they end up fucking people die from it. And 20 years later, they end up getting fined $1 billion. It's happened before.
Really?
So medical sales are really equipment. Yeah, they're like refurbishing pacemakers.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Shit like that. Putting ones that weren't run the full time. They're older than they should be. They would change expiration dates on them. Shit like that. Yeah. It's happened a lot.
Their batteries die. What the fuck?
Well, if you think about it, they do that to people with cars, and you can fucking look under. You can look at that, and they'll fucking give you a shit part, a used part. They've been doing that for 100 years on cars.
Selling cars constantly. They know they're faulty, and they're like, "We'll pull it back on the recall later. Well, we got to get the new model out."
If they sew it into your body, how the hell are you going to check on it?
It's hard.
You don't know shit till you drop dead.
Right.
And at that point, I don't know. I mean, they had a bad heart. Yeah, they dropped dead. God. Such a bad heart, they had to have a pacemaker. Look at that.
We did our best. We gave them a part to extend it.
That's it.
Would have been over earlier.
Yeah. So apparently she tells police also that Brian and Esparza had both been convicted of crimes from that scheme.
Okay.
So she said maybe this has something to do with it, because she says after Brian was released from prison, Esparza had frequently called the home here and attempted to extort money from Brian, and had argued with Brian over the phone a lot about money and all this type of shit. So she says he's got an angry ex-business partner who just got out of prison, and so, who knows if these could have been him. So also Rafiel tells detectives about the conflict with Esparza. So he knows he's really into their business.
He's too far into this life.
Right? He says, I heard about Brian fighting with that guy. But the one thing that Angelina and Rafiel failed to mention, that they leave out to the detectives, is that they've been fucking since August. They're not going to mention that.
Yeah.
She doesn't say, this is my boyfriend, Rafiel.
This is my baloney pony.
Yeah, no, not happening. So sometime later that day, or around that time period, Angelina ends up speaking with the insurance agent who sold Brian the policy. This guy inquired whether she inquired whether the death benefit was $500,000 or $1 million. Now, the insurance agent says that Angelina called him, and Angelina says that the insurance agent called her.
Okay.
So there's conflicting. One of them has no reason to lie.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
Right. Also, she's dumb if she's going to lie about that, because that's easily figured out.
Phone
records have been looked at since the 90s, 80s. We know who called who.
And not only that, who do you believe?
Right.
What
right out of the gate?
What stake the insurance guy have in this fucking thing?
He has all the stake of not paying this, so why would he want to?
Did you call him or did she call you? Well, she called me. Okay, great. I believe that.
Right.
He has no reason to. Either way, it doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
If it's legit, he's paying it out. If not, he's not. So it doesn't matter who called who for him. So, that's how that goes. And he also, the insurance agent also says that he and Angelina spoke several times in the days after, and that after Brian's death, and that Angelina asked for an advance on the policy's benefits.
Can you even do that? Is that even I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that. Can I get
know
an
that
advance?
He's dead. Go ahead and advance me, and then we'll pay up later.
It's very weird. Yeah, and the insurance agent said it's not like a regular thing people do.
No.
It's because when that happened, I was like, oh, maybe that's what people do. I don't know.
No.
Maybe like it takes a long time to process. So if like he's not now, there's no income in the house. Maybe that's normal.
Don't worry about it. Well, your bills will be fine pretty soon.
I didn't know. I have no idea. But apparently this insurance agent said, no, very weird.
Yeah.
Called it surprising and atypical.
Okay.
So not normal here. He also says that Angelina was calm and unemotional during their conversations. Like, well, Brian's dead. The policy, a lot about the policy.
Yeah.
Nothing there.
Brian's dead. Policy says payable upon death.
So, pay up.
Yeah.
A little in advance if you could, please. So,
give me in good faith a down payment that you're going to pay me.
Come on. So, Angelina seeks all of this and makes a formal claim for the proceeds on January 30th, 2002.
Okay.
So pretty quick.
Yeah.
Didn't wait very long. February 16th, 2002. Lisa, one of the brothers' wives, and she said that she and Matthew's wife, Linda Richards, invited Angelina out for an evening. It's February 16th is Brian's birthday.
Okay.
And so they said, she might need some emotional support. So the two sister-in-laws take her out to dinner.
Okay.
Now, Lisa says that Angelina said on that occasion while they're out to dinner, Angelina's like, well, Brian was a drug dealer, is what she starts telling these ladies.
Yeah.
Brian was a drug dealer, and the sheriff's department recovered a bunch of ecstasy in his pickup truck where they found him dead. She tells them that. She says there's an ongoing investigation and even a possible link between his drug activities and his death. So she's like, very sad. He was living a secret life, and I'm just very upset about it. The police told me all about it, and, that's how it goes there. So very, very, very sad, obviously.
Sure.
Now, while that's going on February 16th, and she's telling everybody, telling everybody exactly what they need to know and what she wants them to know, 2 days before that, somebody else was being deposed, like legally deposed and asked about everything, and that's Gerald Strebrant.
Why?
Well, we'll find out here. They talked to him on February 13th and 14th, which time he says that he met Angelina through, this is later on, they find this out, but he was being deposed at the time. He said that he met Angelina through Torre in early September of 2001, and later that same month, he witnessed Angelina and Torre get Brian super drunk so that they could spend the evening together without him.
Oh boy!
Like they got him shit faced so he'd pass out so they could
bed early.
So they could go hang out and do shit and fuck and everything like that. So
Clever.
That's, I guess, yeah. I mean, that's like you gave the kid a little too much Dimetapp so you could fucking I don't know what the hell that's
Drink
about.
This NyQuil smoothie.
That's
Junior.
weird. That's some weird shit, man. That's borderline dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, what's next? If booze doesn't work, well, slip something in his drink.
Brian, have a shot. You guys are just drinking beer and wine. Why do I got to do the shots?
What are you drinking? 7-Up? What's going on here? So Angelina says that the idea to get Brian intoxicated was proposed by others, and that while she drove Rafiel to his car after Brian passed out, she didn't have a sexual encounter with him. Obviously, I mean, she's a married woman. Not going to have sex with this man. So during the deposition, Strebrant testifies that Angelina told him that she and Torre were having an affair. Mm-hmm. Okay, now, Strebrant also will say here in the deposition that he saw Angela give Torre $10,000 in cash, and that shortly afterward, Torre said this, quote, Angelina just wishes she could be rid of Brian. She wishes he was just gone, and she's even willing to pay somebody $10,000 to do it. And she knows were a sniper in the Marines, and she wanted to know if you're interested.
Holy shit.
So, this is, he in his deposition, he said, Rafiel offered me the job to kill Brian, I guess to snipe him for $10,000.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy offer. Streebrand said that he told Torre that I'm not killing this fucking guy. I don't even know this guy barely, and I'm not killing him. It's just not my bag.
I usually kill on the grounds of fucking national security.
Yeah. Plus, I'm like 4-1. I got something going on here. I got something cooking in the MMA here. I'm not going to start killing people. What the fuck is wrong with you here? I haven't even hit Grace yet. Do you understand? I'm pre-Grace right now. That's not how the stories go.
I haven't submitted to punches yet.
Yeah, I do this, and then I submit to punches. We call that Grace, and then you laugh, and then next thing you know, I don't know, like Dexter Manley comes in and makes. You don't know how this works, do you, Rafiel?
I don't want to murder before Grace.
No, you can't have a pre-Grace murder. This is goddamn ridiculous. Rafiel, get the hell away from me. I'm sorry. You don't know the shawarma man. You're
Also, the government retired me. I'm no good at this anymore.
Yeah, I stink. Well, other than that, or just not. He might be great at it. He just stopped because his time was done and he wanted to do other shit. He wanted to pummel people with his bare hands rather than shoot them.
He was done shooting them.
It's like it's so impersonal.
Yeah.
To do. If only I could.
A mile away.
If only I could hurt someone just with my bare hands. Yeah. Talk about a different thing. A mile away as compared to literally dry humping a man. You can't get any different than that. Shooting from a mile away.
Snipe them up in their face.
Yeah.
With my hands.
I'm going to teabag this guy while I punch him. It's a totally different thing. So, according to Gerald here, Rafiel called him several times in late December and early to mid-January, stating that Brian had been killed and emphasizing that he needs to see Streebrand in person. Need to see you right now. He's dead. Brian's dead. I need to see you. So Gerald's like, Jesus Christ. He finally decides that he's going to meet with Torre, and it's like mid-January 2002. When they meet, Rafiel admits that he killed Brian. He tells Gerald, I killed Brian, but it was self-defense. Yeah. I had no choice. I mean, he was mad at me.
Okay.
Had no choice. He said that Brian accused him of having an affair with Angelina, and that Brian pointed a gun at him. He pointed at the Glock that he kept in the truck. He pointed it at me, and he goes, I am a full-fledged ninja kumite woods champion.
Right.
So obviously I
disarmed him.
I gave him a quick karate strike to the gun,
right,
which he stood there dumbfounded with.
Couldn't believe that I was coming at him.
And then I
took the chamber off the gun with my bare hand and without touching a thing.
It was pretty impressive. While keeping eye contact with him.
And stripped it.
Which was cool. And then I touched his neck and he fell down. It was awesome. So this is his story. Mm-hmm. He says that he pulls this gun on him. He's at gunpoint now, Rafiel.
Right.
I mean, it's dangerous shit, but it's not that dangerous because he knocked the gun from Brian's hand.
Right.
That's what he said. His quick reflexes took over, and he said he hit the gun from Brian's hand. The gun went flying.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you keep a nice loose grip on a gun when you're pointing it at somebody.
Generally, yeah.
You're not like, oh shit, tightly gripping,
horrified,
white knuckle on the thing, and
white knuckle holding the thing that's about to save your life.
No. What you do is you loosely hold it, and then you let the guy take a swing at you. Like I bet you can't kick this out of my hand.
You wet noodle it to let them know that you mean business.
That's how it works here.
So confident in my gun usage.
So he knocked the gun from his hands. Okay, now he's pointing it at him.
Yeah.
Knocked it from his hands, which would make him obviously stand there in shock and horror.
Oh my God!
Oh my! He's such a ninja.
I'm so vulnerable.
Whoa! What a ninja! I never expected him to be so. His reflexes to be so cat-like.
Right.
He's like Always Sunny Max, like description of himself is what he's doing. Like that's how I picture telling the story. So I gave him an ocular pat down, and I noticed there's a Glock. So I took him down.
Ocular pat down.
Gave him an ocular pat down. I realized that he
found the Glock.
Needed to not be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, he and then he said that's how he then knocks it from his hands. Somehow, I assume with a slow motion flip over Brian's head. Yeah. I have no way of knowing this, but I don't know how he got behind him from having the gun pointed at him. But I assume he hit the gun and then from a standing position leapt into the air, did a barrel roll, like a total flip over it, landed, spun, and then before Brian could turn around and shocked of this, he was looking up, going, where'd he go? He just applied this rear chokehold. Probably had him dead within seconds, I would imagine, right?
Real Raiden from Mortal Kombat move.
Over
him.
And then he finished him.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. And it was fatality time.
Okay.
He choked him out. Yeah. So I wish I had that on video. Well, never mind the Woods Kumite.
That would have been a good time to have it.
This looks impressive.
Where's your RCA?
So who has the Panasonic? So according to Strebrant, Rafiel said that he was just trying to choke him out, put him unconscious, so he can't get the gun. But he said he felt something crush in Brian's neck, and that's when he released the hold. And he said, oh, no, what did I do? And let him go, even though he's a guy who was trying to kill him with a gun.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt the guy. Jesus. So he said, I let him go. What's going on? He said, oh, my God, he's dead. What do I do?
Yeah.
He said, so he was just shocked. He didn't know what to do. He said, so Rafiel said to Strebrant, look, you got to do me a favor here. Obviously, my ninja reflexes took over. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm trained since birth to do this. He said, but you can do me a favor to help me out of this. You need to provide me an alibi. Can you do that? Just say you were with me. We were here and maybe we were eating some sushi and we found some girls. Strebrant went, I'm not fucking doing that.
Good for him.
I'm not killing the guy and I'm not saying you were with me when you killed the guy.
I've had more fights than you. I'm not scared of you.
No, that's the other thing. You're not fucking ninja flipping over me. I'll kick your goddamn ass. Yeah. So not happening here. So he doesn't. He does, however, agree to hang on to Brian's Glock.
Okay.
Because Rafiel had the gun.
Okay.
That was missing from the truck.
So he took the gun.
So Strebrant's like, all right, I'll hang out there. So Strebrant takes the gun and stores it at his home in Oregon. That's where he lives. So Strebrant, after that, has it for a while, and then he goes, this isn't right. So he contacts the sheriff's detectives and recounts the conversation and everything and gives them the gun.
Great.
And agrees to, not only that, he agrees to make recorded telephone calls to Angelina as well.
Awesome.
To set everybody up and bust them.
Oh, so fantastic.
They picked the wrong cat here.
He hasn't even lost yet.
Say it. What's Gerald?
Pre-Grace.
What is he?
What is he?
For you?
For me, he's my kind of guy.
Okay. Hang on to that.
Oh, no.
Put that
some honor.
Put that in your pocket for later,
son
Chief.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, boy. Yeah. He's Jimmie's kind of guy. So we know what that means, everybody.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, during this, March 5th, 2002, Angela receives $50,000 in cash in an advance from the insurance company.
They gave her an advance?
They advanced her.
Unbelievable.
6 days later, on March 11th, she purchases a vacation package to Cancun, Mexico. For both herself and Rafiel.
She took a sandals like a fucking...
Yep.
What?
She purchased a fucking package deal to Cancun for her and Torre.
Holy shit.
So these two idiots are going to go down there and pretend they're on their honeymoon.
Wild.
Yeah. So
like the douchiest place.
We're going to Cancun,
oh
man.
My God.
You just saw a commercial for it. Like, that looks pretty. I like the sun.
Come on down to Cancun.
Oh, man. That's bad. It's like the Western Virginia.
Yeah.
All those Virginias for lovers commercials back east.
Was Cancun, was that spring break from MTV around this time?
I don't remember where they were.
I wonder if they saw that. I feel
maybe
it feels as though they did a spring break in Mexico.
They're like 40. These people. What the hell are they doing going to spring break? And you think they'd be going? Oh, don't go to Cancun. That's where spring break's going to be. No, at 40 you avoid spring break.
Right.
You go, where's spring break going to be? Cool. I'll be on the opposite coast then because I'm not going
Canada, Mexico,
anywhere near that shit.
Canada.
Yeah, I'll still be able to smell the vomit. Have a good one. Enjoy. Whereas when you're 20, you'd be like, fucking, where is it, man? Now, don't have the energy. So, also, everyone that comes forward who the sheriff's detectives talk to say that Rafiel was constantly at Angelina's home beginning about a week or two after Brian's death. He pretty much lived there. Didn't live there. He was there all the time. So, September of 2002, the insurance company, the Nationwide insurance company, files a complaint against Angelina here.
So much for on your side.
Yeah, they're not quite on your side here. They're Nationwide will take you to court.
Yeah.
Nationwide will sue your ass. That's that's what they got here. So Nationwide will have you served.
We'll take back your chicken farm.
We'll take back your chicken farm. You know it. So the complaint names Angelina, Bryce, and Kendall as defendants here. So the whole family here. Keith was appointed as guardian and ad litem for Bryce and Kendall, who are the two sons of Brian. So there we go. Now, California, this is the law here that I found. A named beneficiary of a bond, life insurance policy, or other contractual arrangement who feloniously and intentionally kills the principal obligee or the person under whose life the policy is issued is not entitled to any benefit under the bond policy or other contractual arrangement, and it becomes payable as though the killer had predeceased the decedent.
Wow.
So you don't exist anymore in terms of that, in terms of the, who gets what. So that's what they're saying. They're saying she's involved in the death is what they think.
And we're not paying.
And we're not paying jack fucking shit for that. So Angelina files a cross-claim against Keith and a counterclaim against Nationwide, seeking a declaration that she's entitled to the proceeds as the primary named beneficiary. So Keith files a cross-claim against Angelina, seeking a declaration that Bryce and Kendall are entitled to the proceeds and seeking a return of the $50,000 that Nationwide advanced to Angela.
Oh, my God.
So we want that back, too, to give to the kids because she stole it, is what they're saying.
And we've got to litigate this now.
Oh, what a mess. So Keith says that Angela conspired in Brian's murder, thus disqualifying herself from receiving any benefits of the policy, and that as a result, the policy benefits are payable to the children, and that's it. Nationwide deposited the policy proceeds into the district court's registry and was granted judgment for the whole thing here. The district court conducted a bench trial, then issued findings of fact, which determined that Angelina did conspire, aid, and abet Brian's murder, and thus is disqualified from receiving any proceeds from the policy. The district court entered a judgment against Angelina and Keith and for Keith as guardian for the kids.
And they did this prior to being arrested?
Yeah, they decided.
How did they figure out?
Because as far as they found from the facts, they basically do, it's like a civil trial. They basically do like, the OJ civil trial. They have their own trial to see, and if they're, convinced that, well, then
that
fuck
seems
you,
reckless to say, I don't know, she murdered somebody. And they're like, well, we can't really prove that, but we can not pay her based on that, apparently.
We can have a court thing for it.
That's wild.
December 2003, December 11th, 2003 is the first time that Gerald spoke with Angelina in about 2 years. Okay. I hadn't talked to her in about 2 years, as we know from the end of the year there, 2001. Gerald Strebrandt tells Angelina, quote, "The gun that Rafiel gave me has been recovered." Okay, that's what she says. Angelina responds that she didn't know what Gerald was talking about and that he should talk to Rafiel if that's something to do with him, because I don't know shit about it. So, December 12th, 2003, the next day, Strebrandt calls back again. I haven't talked to her in 2 years, and he's calling her all the time.
Constantly.
He tells Angelina that Rafiel admitted to killing Brian in self-defense and had given Gerald Brian's gun and told Strebrandt that Angelina would pay $10,000 for somebody to kill Brian. So basically, he's just trying to get her to fucking
talk about this.
So you remember 2 years ago, and you said you'd have someone kill Brian for $10,000, and then someone did, and then I had the gun. Do you remember that?
Right.
It's basically what he's doing to get that on tape.
He's bad at this.
He's not very good at it, but I don't know what else. It's just awkward. There's no way of naturally bringing up a murder with someone you haven't talked to in 2 years.
Correct.
That you're not really close to anyway.
He barely knows her. He knows the dude.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not. That's why she's like, I don't know. I've talked to him. I barely know you. She responded to all this with, quote, "That's ridiculous. I would never say that." So
that's weird too, though.
She's like, she senses something's up, which if you haven't talked to someone in 2 years and then they call you, she's like,
But as somebody that if you did or if you didn't do it, if you never said that, you'd be like, what the fuck are you saying right now? I got to talk to Ralph about this because
did he say
I've
that?
never said
Jesus
that.
Christ,
that is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
What are you talking
never
about?
say that. Hold on. I got to get some Franzi and my friends here. So Angelina did not call the sheriff's department or anybody else to report this conversation, which in her mind, she's totally doesn't know a thing about her poor husband being murdered, and a man just called you to tell you who murdered him and how it happened and everything else, and you didn't call to try to...
And is kind of extorting you.
Yes, exactly.
In a weird
I'd like
way.
$10,000.
Yeah, right.
So if you would normally call the sheriff's department and
For sure.
I got a call from my blah, 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 blah.
I think maybe my boyfriend had something to do with this.
Or at least his friend
is calling me about some weird shit.
Super weird, yeah. So Angelina doesn't do that, though. When questioned by sheriff's deputies the following day, because they sit her down the next day to question her about it.
Because they know about
it. She then admitted that she spoke to Gerald the previous day, but said the only matter discussed was whether Torre was home. Meanwhile, they recorded it, obviously, so that's not true. When asked how Gerald came to possess Brian's gun, Angelina said that she just didn't know. So December 17th, 2003, Rafiel is arrested for murder.
Yeah.
He is definitely, most certainly arrested for murder. At his trial here, Angelina does not testify. She takes the fifth against, her right against self-incrimination.
Sure.
And she also invoked the privilege during her deposition taken to refuse the following several questions. This is what she did during the deposition. So there was a deposition that's how they figured out that she was involved in the killing with the insurance thing.
Okay.
During the deposition, these are the questions she wouldn't answer. Quote, did you ever express to Rafiel Torre a desire to, quote, get rid of Brian? Did you ever tell Rafiel to kill Brian? Prior to Brian's murder, did you ever tell anybody that you and Rafiel were going to move away together? Did you have any involvement at all in Brian's murder? Did you ever proposition Rafiel to kill Brian? Did you ever ask Gerald Strebrandt to kill Brian? Did you ever ask Rafiel Torre to provide you with an alibi because you had killed Brian?
Okay.
Wouldn't answer any of those questions.
None of those.
Had no answer for those whatsoever. Okay. Took the fifth on those. So now the defense here, Rafiel's defense here, he's got to do something.
Sure.
I don't know what the hell he's going to do. There's it's not looking good for him at this moment. There's two different people saying he did it. And the defense theory is we're just going alibi. He wasn't there, period. If he's not there, how the fuck could he have done it? Simple, right? Alibi. He said that he testified. He says that he couldn't have killed Brian because he wasn't with him at the time of the murder. That simple. Dude, I wasn't there. How could I have done it? He said that he did not go to Bryan with Orange County to pick up Christmas presents. He said he was taking a shower at the time at a Rancho Cucamonga gym. He's like, I was doing that. He said, then I drove to Yucca Valley to have dinner with my wife, because Rafiel's married too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
No.
This poor woman. Not only are you having an affair, but you killed the woman's husband too. Wow, this is great. Imagine getting that unloaded on you.
If you're a wife, you'd have to think, I'm clearly next.
Well, yeah, obviously. This is not good. Yeah, they're clearing the path here. This isn't good. I would be very worried about this. He said he's taking a shower in Rancho Cucamonga at the gym, then drove home at dinner with his wife. He said he could not perform a chokehold on Brian because he had previously injured his hand in a bar brawl.
Okay.
It's like, I got in a bar fight like 3 days before that. My hand is messed up. There's no way I could choke a guy to death.
I'm not a piece of shit that would choke a guy. I'm a piece of shit that gets in bar fights.
Yeah, so, and then can't choke a guy.
Right.
Because of that.
It makes myself incapable.
You know how it works. So he does say that he did make statements to Gerald saying that he killed Brian by applying a chokehold that broke Brian's neck. He also testifies that he told Gerald that Brian came into his studio, pulled a gun, and threatened to kill him because of his relationship with Brian's wife.
Got it.
So it's at that point where Rafiel said that he raised his hand and walked toward Brian, begging him not to kill him. When Brian went to lift the gun back up, that's when Rafiel knocked it out of his hand.
Yeah.
Straight ninja style.
Yeah.
And then as Brian bent down to pick the gun up, and his surprise as he shuffled around the ground, that's when Rafiel jumped on him from the back and applied the chokehold. And just in the adrenaline of the moment, didn't realize the type of pressure he was put on him and broke his neck. But he would have never done it if he wasn't going for a gun.
All right.
I'm just a nice guy. So he said that these statements to Gerald were lies that Angelina directed him to tell. All the rest of the stuff that's incriminating. All that other shit that he said that's bad for me, that was all Angelina said to say all that stuff. So
right.
Yeah, it works. About a week after the murder, Angelina told Rafiel that she hired and paid someone to kill her husband because she was tired of Brian abusing her and she knew she would never get out from under her marriage. Angelina told Rafiel to tell Gerald the chokehold story because it would protect her. If she was arrested, then Rafiel could come forward and claim self-defense. He said, this was our plan.
Okay.
Yeah. That way, Angelina would be released because she didn't kill Brian, and then Rafiel would be free on self-defense grounds. That's the plan.
That's the A to B.
That's the A to B. You didn't actually kill him, so they'll just let you go. And then me, obviously, they'll just let me go because it was obviously self-defense.
See, she was been abused for so long. We both have been studying the law and figuring out how we can fix this without involving, police and such.
Obviously.
We'll handle it in-house.
I've seen you guys around. You're busy. You're busy. I'm just going to say that.
You don't have time to be dealing with the guy that hits his wife.
I got it. It's okay. I got this one. Don't worry about it. You guys take a powder. Take a 5. This one's for you.
Call me Bruce Wayne.
You know how it works. So, yeah, he said he did that. And he also said Rafiel said that his chokehold story to Gerald was untrue. Brian never came to the studio and didn't confront him with a gun, and he didn't even choke Brian. He also mentioned that he was unaware that Brian had life insurance. Mm-hmm. So he says everything that Gerald says is a lie. I didn't do shit. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's got money.
Angelina tried to set me up. You're trying to set me up. Gerald's trying to set me up. Everybody was setting me up.
Goddamn nationwide.
Yeah. So following this, this is a first-degree murder case, by the way. This is no joke here, with intent to profit from the proceeds, which is, by the way, eligible for the death penalty we'll talk about. Verdict comes in guilty for Rafiel of first-degree murder.
In California.
In California. They are considering going for the death penalty here. They're not fucking around. They are looking at the death penalty on him. This is exactly the type of thing that they like giving the death penalty for. Murder for profit.
Right.
Cold-blooded to get some money to bang some lady.
Not just murder for profit, but murder for profit in terms of fucking defrauding an insurance company. That's real bad.
It's bad shit, man. So, I mean, he is distraught, as you might imagine, and he feels very misunderstood.
Yeah,
this is bullshit. I was doing my thing. I can't help this guy. This lady kills her husband. This is not my fucking problem.
Right.
Like, I didn't do it. Obviously, it's not me.
Yeah.
If he were to confront me with a gun, obviously I would ninja kick it from his hands and do a spin over his body and then choke him to death. Clearly, but I didn't. I could have. I would.
I'm very capable.
I'm capable of it, but I didn't. You know how it works. So he's just sitting there. He's very disappointed in the whole thing, and he gets a new cellmate, and it cheers him up a little bit.
Yeah,
it's somebody that understands him. Finally, it's Adam Pac-Man Jones,
hilarious,
arugula connoisseur.
Yeah,
and he says he doesn't have music, so he can just go in. He says, "How is it you've come to arrive? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This man shouldn't be here. This man, you're holding, excuse me, guard.
Holding a hero.
This man, he's a hero. He's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
I've seen him. I believe it was up in the Northwest forests. I saw him in a wonderful. It was a competition of combat skills, and he was just a wonderful man. He came in. He left with it wouldn't even fit in a duffel bag. This trophy was.
Were you out there tending your arugula?
Oh, he was. It's what I have a field out there, but this is just ridiculous. He's a misunderstood man.
Yeah,
there's chokeholds. This is silly, and I'm frankly, I'm offended for him, and I'd like to step in and just I feel like he's a nice man.
I'll take the rap.
I'm not going to take the rap myself, but I will punch a person while I hold a Popeyes bag if they think that he's guilty. This is ridiculous. I have a Popeyes bag, and I'm going to keep that, and I have to go. I have to. My arugula is wilting. I must go now. Goodbye.
This Popeyes is getting cold,
and it's gone in a cloud of Popeyes and arugula. He's out of there. And everyone is very surprised.
Sure.
Especially, he doesn't understand this at all, Rafiel. Went to choke him, and then he disappeared. It was very weird. So, Yeah, sentencing comes up, and this is, like we said, death penalty eligible here.
This is a bad thing.
Yeah, they say, you, sir, may fuck off life without parole.
Holy shit.
Life without the possibility of parole.
Taking it dead-ass serious.
Gone, fucker.
Outsy.
Yeah, I guess apparently he's now getting off on a self-defense, huh?
Blame it on the rain, sir.
Yeah, I would say. You fucking paint something black. So now Angela, by the way, has an insurance trial now, which is interesting here. She basically they do this trial for her now. The district court found expressly that Keith was prejudiced by Angelina's refusal to answer deposition questions about the subject of her involvement in the murder. So they're saying basically it's Keith trying to say, I'm not with her. Like, yeah, she's her own thing and I'm mad at her too, basically. All this evidence, in addition to Strebrandt's testimony in support of the court's findings that Angelina conspired in, aided and abetted the murder, they found that Brian possessed a policy worth $1 million. Angelina knew about it. She had an affair. Then her and Torre leased a commercial building together without Brian's knowledge or participation. Angelina knew that her marriage might end in divorce soon. Evidence, obviously, of the murder. Strebrandt's testimony. Angelina and Rafiel concealed their affair from detectives. Angelina misrepresented to detectives regarding her knowledge of the policy. About who she called. She booked a fucking trip to Cancun the second she got money. Lies to the sheriff. With the murderer. This all looks very, very, very bad here. And also the adverse inference drawn from Angelina's invocation of the Fifth Amendment right to against self-incrimination. You can do that, and in a criminal trial, they're not allowed to hold that against you. But in a civil trial, that shit's different.
That looks bad.
I mean, you could take whatever you want as a factor because it's just a 50-50. You know, 51% is the winner in a civil trial. There's no reasonable doubt beyond a reasonable doubt. So different standards here. Now, Rafiel has to appeal, obviously. He's got problems.
Right.
He's going to appeal.
He's there forever unless he appeals.
Yeah, he appeals that he said the court should have instructed on manslaughter and self-defense. The trial court erroneously imposed a parole revocation fee. He's arguing about fees that they're charging him. I don't think that fucking matters at all here.
It's not going to matter.
No. So they say, fuck off. You're gone. Get out of here. We don't need you. Still in prison. Now, while he's in prison, he's featured in a New York Times article.
What?
Not about what an awful guy he is and a liar and everything else. It's called In Prison, Learning Magic by Mail.
Learning Magic.
New York Times. This is it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The major newspaper, and it's here. So this is ridiculous. And all sorts of other publications, too.
Not the Post.
No. This is the paper of record. This isn't the New York Post. This isn't the Daily News. This isn't, 2003 is convicted, all that, they say. They say, quote, with no access to the internet, he has gleaned most of his magic knowledge from books, letters from Jay, which is some other magician they're talking about earlier, and other magicians, and whatever magic he could catch on TV. What fucking magic is on TV?
Who gives a shit, A? And why does he get to learn magic?
Thank you. He says he sculpts his own props out of sponges.
Okay.
And for string, he pulls thread out of his underwear. During stretches in solitary, where playing, of course he's in solitary because he's fucking up, where playing cards is forbidden, he found that he could fashion 4 makeshift cards from his daily milk carton.
Wow.
So he did. Would you like to see milk carton cards?
Oh, boy. Holy shit.
That's what they look like.
And it's forbidden to play them.
If you have no cards.
Yet he can make his own. Also,
look, there's cows on them and nutritional values and shit.
There's 52 cards, right?
Yeah.
So it would take him, how long is that? So fucking long.
Not that for prison?
13 days?
That's not long in prison.
No.
Fuck, for prison, that's... You wouldn't even notice that shit.
Every day you get 4 new cards.
Yeah, so he makes those stupid-looking cards.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, they quote him rather thoroughly here. So let's give him a from prison. That's where... This is like a letter from camp, the original in their own words. Let's give them an in their own words. In their own words, quote, everybody wants to feel like they matter. And in prison, most of us don't. No.
Yeah.
I can practice and make my mind go someplace else. I can get taken away for a minute. You make them for a few seconds and you believe you're doing you make them for a few seconds believe that you're doing the impossible. And for me, for a magician, you see that look on their face. I can't equate it to anything else.
I hate him.
That's it.
I hate him so much.
I can't equate it to anything else.
Oh, my God.
Fucking idiot. Yeah.
In prison, you can get taken away. You are taken away, sir.
Yeah.
Forever.
So I found on these message boards, this is from like 2004 when all this was going on, Gerald posted on this message board, Strebrant, and he posted to, I believe this is one of Brian's kids that was posting about this.
Okay.
And he says, let's see, oh no, that's to Gerald. And then Gerald, it's the son. And then somebody talks to Gerald, and Gerald talks back.
Okay.
And they're going like back and forth there, basically. I think this is Rafiel's son is on here saying that basically Rafiel's innocent.
Rafiel's innocent.
My dad's innocent.
And Gerald's a rat and a piece of garbage?
Not even. He says, okay, Gerald, I talked to you on the recently on your cell phone. I only called to see if it was you, and it was. You may not remember, seeing as I didn't reveal my name over the phone. I'll leave his name out. I'm sure you remember me. I'd like to clear the air a little. He says, I'm Rafiel Torre's son. I'm 18. I live in North Bend, Oregon. This is years and years ago.
Sure.
Basically, Gerald was essentially my mentor at one point in time. I wanted to be exactly like him. I thought he was a great guy. He was funny and spontaneous. He was always making people laugh. My father taught him Brazilian jiu-jitsu. They trained together particularly often, but as you know, my father and stepmother, both of whom I love dearly, split up. I believe that was in 2001, possibly 2002. I moved in with my father and Angel Richards. That's Angelina.
Yeah.
The home life is of no importance. Again, I wanted to be exactly like Gerald when I was a child. What I'm getting at is children are more often than not gullible. I know now that Mr. Strebrant is a liar. I have yet to understand exactly how my father, the accused, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Here are my reasons for thinking my father is innocent.
Oh, boy.
Here
Catalog them out, sir.
First of all, Brian was found in the back of his Ford pickup truck in the Albertsons parking lot some 3 days after the death is supposed to have occurred. There was no postmortem stress to the back of his head. Where I'm going with this one is that when a man is lifting another heavier man into the back of a pickup, he was bound to land on the back of his head or face. If your retort consists of anything along the lines of perhaps he lifted him from under his arms, there's no post-mortem stress there either. Second of all, the alibi was tossed. Randy Jones essentially called a liar on the stand when she stated that she had come home earlier that day to spend the holidays with us. I was never called to the stand, seeing as I was underage, and my uncle wouldn't fly down there with me, so I was never asked to. So the infamous blood sample that was never used in the case. A blood sample was found in the truck of Brian Richards, and it belonged to neither Rafiel or Brian. Would you think that would be an awesome piece of evidence for the case, wouldn't you? You know, Gerald, Randy lives in Coos Bay, and Brandon and I live in North Bend. We all left California because of the lies you told on the stand. We were all driven out of the area because of all the things you spread about my father. I hope you sleep well at night with your little settlement reward that you how damn well don't deserve. Oh, because he got a reward for turning him in. That makes sense. Does your wife know that you're a liar? Does she know that you said these things to acquire money that started your school in Eugene? I wonder these things at night when I'm thinking of the entire case.
Oh, my.
Oh, boy. Everybody, I'd like you all to know that I have nothing against Brian Richards' family. If anything, I'm trying to help them more so than anybody has so far. If they want to be content with their son's death, they should at the very least know that the right man is in prison. They're surrounded in their fake world or false pretenses and warped lies, and heard somebody they'd never met before, and that's no way to live. You know, I mean,
I can see his side of the story.
He's his son. I mean, it's going to obviously. Yeah. So Gerald writes back to him. He writes back to him. He said, I want to tell you how sorry you are for what I am for what you went through.
Sorry you are. Okay, come on.
I always thought you were so cool. You are a good person, and I only hope good things for you. I don't know what to say to you. Your dad asked me to kill Brian. It's not even disputable. I heard the words as they came out of his mouth, and I know I have good hearing. He told me how when he was choking Brian, he felt his throat crack and break. He told me Brian had blood coming out of his mouth. Do you know what that was? Do you know what that was? That was Brian's hyoid bone that was protecting the front of his neck. That's the most common things to find on a person who's been choked to death. Your father told me that he felt it break as he was choking him to death. That's something that was never released by anyone, and only the killer could have known. Your father also gave me a gun. He took from under the seat in Brian's truck. It was a Chevy, not a Ford, and it was a Glock 45 that his family could never find after his death. He asked me to lie and say he was with me that night. Why would he do that? Why would he ask me to call him at payphones and come down to LA to meet with me? Why would he check to make sure that I wasn't wired? He said, innocent people don't do all these things. Innocent people don't brag about the things they plan to do with the dead man's insurance money. I could go on all day about the things your dad told me about the murder. How much time do you have? Your dad told me he was freaked out because Brian bled on his judo mats and he scrubbed them down with bleach, but he still wanted to sell them just in case the police ever got a hold of them. He asked me to promise him never to let you know what he did. He loved you so much and he didn't want you to ever think any less of him. He wanted me to tell you that he loved you more than anything and that he was a good man. I'm sorry for what you've gone through. I really hope the best for you. You were a great kid, and now that you're a young man, I'm sure you have a whole new chapter of your life. I hope you're still the same funny, athletic, intelligent person that you were when I knew you.
Okay.
So, wow, he flipped that around.
Yeah. He didn't take any offense either, which is what somebody that's guilty would do.
Yeah, he's like, listen,
I know what you're going through, kid.
Yeah. Then he goes on to talk a little bit more, and he said it just, explains it a little bit more. So Gerald seems like, what kind of guy is he?
He's my kind of guy.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's got a heart.
It seems like it. January 29th, 2014, Gerald is in a bit of a fender bender here. He's driving a new and unlicensed GMC Denali.
What?
Why would you have a Denali that's brand new and unlicensed?
And in 2014?
Yeah.
That's a $80,000 car.
I was going to say, it's a very expensive car.
You better license and insure the shit out of that.
I would say. He gets in a car accident with a Nissan Rogue, which is a complete shitbox.
Trash, that piece of shit.
Trash car.
Yeah.
So, this happens here. He's had some problems driving, by the way. Gerald's not a great driver, apparently.
Why would you have a car like that?
I don't know. He cost $500. Let's see. Between January of this year, what is this? 2014. Streben was convicted twice in Lane County of speeding violations and once of following another vehicle too closely. Okay. He also named as one of the defendants in a $47,000 suit filed by this one guy saying that Streben robbed him at gunpoint.
Oh my God!
As part of a business-related dispute. Streben denied the allegations but lost in court. So
he's
he pointed a gun at somebody. Now back to the road confrontation. Streben calls 911 as there's a confrontation between the two of them in the road. Okay. He calls 911. This is the 911 call. Quote, "I've got my firearm out."
Oh boy.
That's where he starts.
That's his first sentence.
That's it. "How you doing? Got my firearm out. He hit me on purpose with his vehicle, crashed into my brand new truck, and now he's over by my truck and I'm backing away from him." The operator instructs him to get back in his vehicle and lock the door. Mm-hmm. He says that the other man is already at his vehicle, so he can't get to it. He said, then you hear him say, "Get back from me." And then he says, "Ma'am, I can't see his hands. He's dark." What?
Wait, what? Hold on.
Does he mean it's dark?
Yeah,
I hope that's I can't see his hands. He's dark. You don't say that.
No.
I hope not anyway.
No.
Jesus Christ. The dispatcher tries to calm him down. He drops the call. And then the call drops, and then he calls back.
Yeah.
And he says, the first thing he says now is, quote, "Send an ambulance right now."
Oh, no, he
That's
shot
where
him.
this started. During the gap in the recording, he fired a single shot that hit this David Crowfoot in the head and killed him.
Wow.
Yes. He explains to the operator that he shot the man, that he called him several times to stop approaching, and that he couldn't see his hands. He tells the operator that Crowfoot got close enough to touch his rifle, Now, forensic investigators later find Crowfoot's DNA on the rifle.
Okay.
So that could be true, or he could have touched it to his hand.
He has a rifle.
We don't know. Either way, yeah, it's a rifle and a hand.
A rifle.
They're different. You could have hit him with the rifle. It would have been more reasonable. Just beat him with it. Otherwise, he was completely unarmed, this other guy. He claims self-defense. Gerald does. His attorney says that Strebent reached into his vehicle, retrieved his loaded .223 caliber semi-automatic rifle.
It's an AR.
Yeah, exactly. Because he said that Crowfoot verbally threatened his life.
Wow.
Carrying a loaded rifle is fine in Oregon in your vehicle. The other guy was unarmed. Unarmed is unarmed. Sorry. And you know how to fight. You're a fucking MMA fighter. What are you talking about?
He carries an AR.
Ridiculous, man.
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
Ridiculous. Following the shooting, they cuffed him, took him into custody, but they later released him that night. So there's all this going on. Now, Crowfoot had a blood alcohol level of 0.15.
Too drunk.
Drunk as shit to be driving. Yeah, that was the deal. But Strebent ends up being arrested and charged with murder in March 6th after a grand jury indictment here. So, yeah, Strebent's attorney says, quote, "It remains our position that when an angry and hostile stranger acting aggressively to you tells you that he has a weapon and threatens to kill you, you're entitled to take him at his word. No armchair quarterbacking by the government changes that fact. If a police officer had been put in the same situation as Gerald, the aggressor would have been dead minutes earlier and the shooting would have been found justified within days."
Wow.
But you're also not a police officer. That's the difference. You're a jerk-off MMA fighter.
Jerk-off MMA fighter who used to be you're a fucking sniper in the military.
That's the other thing. Yeah,
he's a dangerous man.
And also, his ex-wife says that she tells investigators that he's been involved in road rage incidents, quote, all the time. She said he would brake check other drivers once and tried to run over other drivers off the road.
Yeah,
that's a thing that happened. 6 days before the shooting, he posted this on Facebook.
Yeah.
Gerald did, quote, "If you like to drive slow, guess what? You should be in the slow lane. If you want to drive greater than the speed limit, guess what? You should be in my lane. If you get this confused somehow, then guess what? I will strike hard and fast like a cobra should the opportunity present itself."
What?
Jesus Christ. This guy is 100% in QAnon right now. I would bet $1 million fucking.
I'm unbelievably annoyed when people do the speed limit or less in the fast lane.
Yes.
But
get over.
Strike hard and fast?
Yeah, calm down. Relax.
Jesus, Cobra Kai.
Relax, Chief.
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
Fuck, that's what he's all about.
Get him a body bag.
So finally, May 21st, 2015, the murder charge is dismissed.
Yeah.
And he ends up pleading guilty to criminally negligent homicide due to the police establishing, quote, some mitigating evidence. So little of this, little of that. The judge says, "You, sir, may fuck off."
Yeah.
4 years and 10 months.
That's it.
That's it. So it's negligent, whatever. So, I mean, he's in jail.
Yeah.
And,
criminally responsible, so his family can sue him.
Rafiel's in jail forever. I mean, he's only in jail for a minute, this guy. Rafiel's in jail for...
What's happened with Angelina?
She's going too. They're all going.
All right.
And then you got Rafiel here. I mean, think about this. He got nothing out of this. He didn't get to he didn't get to spend $50,000.
No.
He got nothing except prison.
Sandals.
He didn't get a new MMA thing. He didn't get a Denali.
No.
He got nothing. No sandals, nothing. You kind of almost feel bad. I mean, not really, but almost.
Yeah.
Not nearly, though, as bad as I feel for Ralph Bartell.
There you go.
Independent food and beverages professional in Richmond, Illinois.
I thought you found a bunch of people named Rafiel.
I did. No, not Rafiel. That's a tough one. Ralph Bartell, cabinet shop supervisor at Manti Woodcraft in Alberta. It looks like. Yeah. Ralph Bartell, director of sport and recreation at Toronto Pan Am Sports Center. So he's involved in sports there. And finally, he's Rafiel Torre. I'm sorry. Rafiel Torre, Director of Sport and Recreation. And he kind of looks like him, too.
Poor bastard.
Very close to him. And then Ralph Bartell, Credit Manager at TK in Ontario.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. So... Strebent told a reporter this: "It's basic math. It's insurance. I don't have to run the risk of a jury getting it wrong. That's why he took the deal.
Mm-hmm.
The deal would only have him in jail 17 months longer than he would have spent waiting in custody for a trial." He's like, fuck it, I'll just take the deal. Criminal defense attorney here said, quote, "When you go before a jury, homicide is an all or nothing proposition.
Yeah.
In difficult cases, sometimes it's a better bet for the defendant to take a compromise deal if that means he doesn't have to risk spending the rest of his life in jail." That's the thing that everybody doesn't understand. They just think that, like, because it's legal to carry a gun, and you're like, that's my Second Amendment right and all that shit, that means that if you feel threatened, you're just allowed to shoot people.
That's not how it goes.
You're not. You can't shoot people. Even if it's all justice, you're still going to get arrested and you're still going to go to jail.
Right.
And then you're also going to have to go through the process. And you might end up being put on trial. They might not believe you. What I'm saying is the other way is a better direction.
Yeah, you don't want to have
to. Get the fuck out of here with that.
The only way you have to use it is if you're being fired upon. That's generally.
Thank you.
That's generally the way you're going to get out of it easy.
That would be the
outside of that. If you got to pull first, that's horrifying.
You don't have to.
And
that's
you're going to go to jail.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
every time.
You're gonna. His attorney says that Strebrandt has a reputation as a brawler, and he's had some problems legally. He says, but he says about this whole thing and what he's seen other people lose self-defense claims. He says, this is the attorney, seeing what happened to Gerald has really made me think twice about carrying my gun.
Sure.
Like, I'm gonna end up in prison with this thing.
Yeah.
So Gerald gets out in 2017. He and his attorney and co-counsel went on to write a book about Strebrandt. His attorney did, called The Finishing Machine. That's the name of the book. Now he's out of jail for a little while, and then he has a little more trouble.
Oh, Gerald.
He's not your kind of guy, Jimmie.
What'd he do?
Let's see here. He's a trainer at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Eugene, Oregon. I think it's his place. And he has, we'll just say this, a 14-year-old victim.
He's helping children learn.
Well, he's helping children learn other things besides jiu-jitsu.
Very close to each other.
Yes, he is arrested for sexually abusing a 14-year-old girl that he was in charge of teaching.
Gross.
So March 2019 is his molestation trial.
Oh, gross.
Which for some reason here I wrote molestation trail instead of trial. The old dusty molestation trail there.
A trail can end with one victim.
We're going on down the old dusty molestation trail. Oh, slow down, horse. My butthole's very sore. Slow down. It's the molestation trail. Now, he's being accused of sexually abusing a second individual as well. It's not just one. No. Someone else comes forward and said they were 15 years old when he abused them. This was in the past, so this is...
it's a pattern.
It's pattern. His sentencing here, he ends up being convicted after a week-long trial. Now, his sentencing is delayed after 2 jurors wrote letters to the court expressing their concerns over the jury's 10-2 verdict, because it was 10-2.
Yeah.
And said that one of the jurors disclosed that a past experience caused her to believe victims in cases. That's what it said. So they were trying to get a bias thing. Yeah. Well, so what? Exactly. So based on that, he said...
Holy shit!
He said, I get a new trial. And the judge said, no, you fucking don't. Actually. Fuck you.
But she was molested. That's not fair.
That's all.
What?
The judge says, you, sir, may fuck off 2 years and 4 months. That's it. He's getting no time for this.
2
years and 4 months.
Good Lord.
So Rafiel currently is right now it says he's in the substance abuse treatment facility at the state prison at Corcoran.
Okay.
So he must be into some drugs.
Wow.
To be there. And can't get enough? Well, pretend you're a black belt.
Yeah.
Or I guess there's this Indiegogo for some, I don't know if it ever came out, but it's called Fighting in Plain Sight. It's a tale of deception and murder in the early days of MMA. It's this story.
Okay.
So probably not as funny, though.
No,
I'm gonna say,
I doubt it.
Might be well done.
Very few Rolling Stone songs.
Much less than we have here. So that is Rafiel Torre.
What a story.
And a fucking mess.
Oh, my God.
Absolute mess.
Angelina went to prison, too, though.
I believe so, yeah she did, too.
I hope for years and years and years.
It's all her. She's the one who conducted it. He's just an idiot.
He
shouldn't be killing people, obviously, but she got the money for it, so
oh my,
it's bad stuff. Hope you enjoy that crazy stuff. If you do, easy way to tell us, get on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. It helps a lot. We have no idea why, but it helps a lot. Get on there, do that. and tell us what a good goddamn story that was. Also, head over to the website, shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder related, and you can get all of your merchandise. Most of all, though, tickets to the live show.
That's right.
A virtual live show this Friday, January the 29th, and it will be available for 72 hours afterwards. It's a real small town murder live show, just like we do in the theaters. Real case. We got microphones so you can hear better and blah, blah, blah. Really fun stuff. All the visuals that you can't see at home.
Live on the internet.
Shutupandgivememurder.com right now or anytime up till the 29th. Get those tickets, or 3 days afterwards too. Right. Get those right now. Follow us on social media. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Patreon, cooking.
It's going.
Get on Patreon. We have got all sorts of cool stuff on Patreon right now. Last week we did the real Goodfellas thing here. Next week we got, there's just so much. Next week we have worst wrestling characters. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. We have that. We have, oh no, that's 2 weeks from now. Gee, I don't know what I'm talking about. That's 2 weeks because we just had Death of Steve McNair.
Yep.
Now we have Goodfellas coming up, and then after that is worst wrestling characters.
Outstanding.
You are got a lineup for Patreon, and you're going to have access to all the small town murder ones. We're going to talk about Love After Lockup pretty soon. We got a crazy murder case this week. You want all this stuff. Patreon.com/crimeinsports will get you all of that stuff, anything over the $5 level, and you'll be a producer getting your name mispronounced at the end of the show by Jimmie. Or if you just want your name to be mispronounced and you want good karma and you just want to feel like a producer, and we will treat you like a producer. You can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. That said, Jimmie, I need the names of all the people who would never ninja kick a gun out of my hand, flip behind me in slow motion, and then choke me to death. Hit me with them, Jimmie.
This week's executive producers are Susanna Platt, Melissa Turner, Matthew Nielsen, Courtney Chenier, Jordan Bennett. Again, thank you so much.
Thank
Claire
you,
Koenig
or Koenig. Birthday too?
Last week.
That's right.
No, it was like a month ago.
Oh,
we should redo this.
About. No, you're good.
Okay.
Just messed up. Happy.
Oh, it was just last week.
Again,
that's right.
Birthday.
Yeah, you're right. Claire Koenig, I think. Hafid Cristobal, he's at Bears fan who loves us terribly. He's a sweetheart. Thank you, Hafid. Peter Renix, Bailey with no last name. Hans Dickel. Nick Brown, Justin Autry, Bethany McGee, Dylan Incantalupo.
I was going to say it's probably Italian, and there it is.
Jake McDonald, Rachel Hilliard Brown, Zuri Coley Galloway, Erica Schaefer, Mike Daniels, Aldo Felici, and his wife Alexandra Felici. Of course it is.
Well, thank you.
Right. Amanda King, Byron Pearson, Elliot Bressler, and Andy Owenby. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. We truly are at your feet. Just to be at your feet. Is that what he said? I don't remember. Other producers this week are Brendan Abels, Danelle Randall, that's Judd Spisdy, Travis Marshall, happy birthday, Aaron Newton, Rogue Riley Creations, Liz Vasquez, Jennifer Baird, Anna Lakey, Norma Gardner, Sean Mayorani, Shane and Lindy Grant, Jacob Cook, Melanie Aguilar.
Anglicize your last names, fellow Italians.
Maxwell Davis, Eric Schiller, Rabbi Shmulalovich. I don't know why he likes me saying that. John Kelly, Andrew McCoy, Lisa Moore, Craig Widgecans. I don't know. That's never going to happen. Amanda Knight, Caleb Cook, Nicholas Kaltsis, Ingrid Stoke, Mary Brutus, Sarah Surridge, Emily King, Melanie Elisa Darcy, Dustin Manley, Megan Guza, Michaela Rotert, Janice Hill, Todd Robertson, happy birthday, Pasqualani Ilardi. Nope, that wasn't even right. I was all excited about it. Pasqualina Ilardi. Total Axe in Michigan. If you like throwing axes, that's the place to do it.
You go, okay.
That's so much fun. I swear to God, James, I want you to do it. It's a blast. Valerie Callahan, Froggy Fred, Deborah Townsend, happy birthday. Jude Kendall, Maria Rasper, Sandra Hurd, Victoria Blau, Thomas Smith, Trey Jelly, Christopher Shadow Lord Tope, Ashley Vio, Barbara with no last name, Ryan Rayan, Kimigisha, Rayanne, Jesus. Marie Kirkland, Mike Palante, David Tozer, Brandon Clancy, Richard Smalley, Eric Rodriguez, Jacob Russell, Jorge Torres, Danielle with no last name, Cynthia Pulido, Paul Whitley, Haley Bennett, Don Coker, Kristen Clark Owens, Jill Wolford, 107 dildos, Valerie Dunkelberger, Berger, Amanda Rodriguez Hauk, Mary Spangler, Michelle O'Hara, Andrew Richards, Vangelica Marshall, Jill, Hirakovich, Rebecca Goddard, Amira Holloman, Ashley Allen, Trevor Larson, Nick Chevy, Jessica Roper, Rebecca Larson, Maggie Schultz, Allie Stroke, Fangirl Productions, Sarah Parker, Megan Paulson, Jeff Cox, Nick with no last name, Brittany McKinney, Daniel Crabtree, Chris McLeod, Haley Horn, Tandy Wallace, I think that's what that says, Macy Loomis, Marie Rose, Justin Burke, Courtney Babcock, Katrina Young, nope, that's King. What the fuck? Why do you guys like that I do this? Carla Jaquays, Michelle Fournier, Travis Waterman, Eric Simmons, Rebecca Bialik, Heather Flippin, Ryan Rowan, Jamie Sharp, Mara, Murphy the Dog Crumb, Sarah Jane Delia Vecchia, David Burgess, Dana Anderson, Stephen Musgrove, Lloyd Browning, Kate O'Connor, Patty Galvin, Ava Salters, Derek Shell, Wade Johns, Jason Havelock. God damn it. Conrad Brower, Devin Williams, Joe Turner, Chrissy Rayburn. Yes, Ben Solbosker.
The big pause.
I know. Sarah Schultz, Deborah Hardy, Isaac Cox. I suck, Cox. I get it. Gotcha. You son of a bastard. Christine with no last name. Audrey Thomas, Fiona Crisp, Eric Smart, Josie Jose. Montalvo, Jackie Davis, Jackie probably, Ryan Koro Okamoto. I'm trying so hard.
Your mouth just gave up halfway through that rumble breaker.
Rhiannon Garrett, Jalen Bates Diffin, Narelle Armstrong O'Brien, Risa Hirsch, what is this? Michael? What? Michle. Is that really Michael? Burge? Mikkel? I don't know. LBC, Dana, no last name. Melinda Nutt probably. Sarah Gardner, Melissa Hanna, Nikki Allen, Bailey Chapman, Clinton Watton, Catherine Schmidt, Melissa Benson, god damn it, Amanda Kirshoff, Destiny Lewis, Candace Metzler, Stephen Haas, Brenda Calicote, Devin Hess, Mario Guerra, Greg Arnold, Zachary with no last name, Amy Fenton, that's an N, not an M, Travis Eisel, Nick Jacoby, Emily Crum, Wayne Holland, Kate Meredith, Edward Hansen, Gina Chovy, Nate with no last name, Brandon Bonderson, Jameel Parker, Matthew, nope, that's Mark, Pietrowski, Stacy Peterson, Moises Lopez, Ella Ellis, Esther with no last name, Melissa Jeter, son of a bitch, man. Stephen Lundberg, Robert Scott, Julianne Armstrong, Mackenzie Hahn, Katie C. Fee, that's an F, Jonathan Hayslip, Shelley Ewanchuk, Debbie Robbins, Frederick Nicolasi. I'm sorry, Frederick. Whitehorse Eventing, Chloe Smythe, I think. Smith, could be either. Tremaine Lastly. Austin Johnson, Brandon Anderson, Kevin Carter, Jim Hackman, Rattle Pod, Akadzali Reynoso, the Pud, James, the Pud. The Pud.
Well, there's the one.
There's several of them, but that one's the. Nicholas Brown, Anna Birdseye, Hope of the Frozen Vegetable Fortune, Misty Baird, Cody Clement, Ian Steven, Even Steven.
Yeah, there we go.
Christopher Leonard, Cameron Smith, what is this? Mojirola, what? Is that real? Mojirola Owalabi? Tom Thurlow, Kayla Lopez, Quentin Kaspari, Jenny Woods, Ian McQuiston, Alex Chapman, Crystal O'Brien, Whitney Dixon, Christy Martin, Gygax Fan. That's I know what that is. Is that the inventor of Dungeons and Dragons? I think it is. I think that's right. Amanda Charles, Carly Schrantz, sorry. Kotessa Spalding, Cindy Sutton, Joanne Karnatowski, David Holloway, Mike, nope, that's Mark Wilkie, Danielle Damara, Nick Bukleglu. Tiana with no last name, Alexis Stark, Jessica Macklin, Brandy Toussaint, Christina Norton, Nick with no last name, Jenny Picard, Jimbo Hoy, Dirty Balls Podcast, Laura Latner, Gordon Duncan, Giggles Shearer, Chris Cook, Lisa Becker, Tommy Marlowe, God damn it, Drake Sharp, Lisa Whittle, Christy with no last name, Jerry White, Alexandria Parks, Tara Kershaw, Martin Thompson, William Wise II, Bobby Bergstrom, Anne-Marie Bryant, Chad Bartling, Katie Toolman, Jacqueline Sauer, Audria Allen, Ricky Durr, Titiana, Sanchez, Jesse Eddy, Tiffany Flores, Gavin Oberon, Kimberly Moriarty, Matt McCarthy, Nikki Kane, Summer Stevens, Jesse Bartle, Joseph Bain, Jason Baxter, Corinne Ertl.
Is on a roll.
I'm doing really well. Laura Leach, Jamie Osbar, Michael Frisbee. I hope that would be amazing. I hope you have $1 billion Frisbee dollars. Paul Steinbeck, Joel Lee, Paige Long, Jen Sarver, Avery Dabrowski, Melissa Tellini, Kate Brenchley, fuck, I've ruined it. Kate Eliza, Eric with no last name, Julian Mays, April Downing, Justin Wilson, Xavier, Carizales, Mitchell Berkey, Danielle, nope, that's Daniel, Lemaire, Rick Carter, Luke Casey, Alyssa Neva, Kaylee with no last name, August West, Brian Ribby, Daniel Ream, Joseph Sullivan, Marilyn with no last name, Luis with no last name, Jennifer Zugat Levy, Stephen Kabika, Michael, Mitch Schultz, Jason Davis, Nicole Ellerby, Kint, 1988, Peter Bignell, Melissa Yazzie, Tommy Trotter, Jeremy Hunt, Brandon Edwards, Billy Lynch, Chandra, Manny. I don't know. Jennifer, nope, that's Jeff Harrell, Brandon Blizzard of the Dairy Queen Blizzard fortune.
Clearly.
Jeremiah Zediker, Jared Forer, Rachel McKenzie, Kelly J, Jesse Taman, Garrett Clark, Miranda Pollard, what is this? LVRSZZ. I'm never pronouncing that. Amanda Litz, Schmidt, God damn it. Andrew Ducholtz, Jamie Wojcik,
get German with it.
Lauren Acevedo, Daniel Harris, Stephen Ranks, Nicholas Hotchmuth, Stain Studios, Ben Mullen, Craig Williams, Charlie with no last name, Kathleen Thane Milgett, I think, Ernest Thomas, Rohan the Jeweler, Rohan Bajaj, Madeline Stewart, Mike Virgo, and then Mike with no last name, Evan Post, Sean with no last name, and also Sean Mara. I love that when there's Sean and then another Sean, and it's two different people for shortsies. Sandra Hurd, Austin Richards, Captain Mowens, Kenzie Jones, Lexington Katsakian, Caleb Bamey, Not So Steely Dan, Sarah with no last name, Katie Benzinger, DJ Hoglio, Laura Salmon, Sarah Raboon, Kenneth Enoch, Mary Doubt it, Zach, nope, she does. Dave Brown, Michelle Dawson, Bailey Hall, Danny Schaub, Aaron Saxon, Jennifer with no last name, JJ Puck, I think it's Puck, Lauren with no last name, Emily Sorrell, Christy Facey, Rachel Spans, Tommy Rounds, Tommy Pounds is who it is.
Hey, Namita, Tommy Pounds, he does.
Namita Kara, Rez, Steve Geralt, nope, that's Angel Kavanaugh, Nathan Sanders, Marissa Jane Rossi, in 2R.
Janice Rossi.
Sarah Birnbaum, Brian Caxer. Barely knows her. David Gleason, Jesse Senzabaugh, Linda Bright, Jen DeSimio, Robert Carroll, Pooh, Toe, El Kello, Leia. I don't know. Matthew Lacewell, Mary Wood, Ashley Moore, Ben Sullivan, Mary Ann Dane, Kristen Buford, Jerry Rumney, Amy Beck, Elizabeth Metz, Andrea Hocknadel, Kristen Buford, C.R. Cronin, David Gomez, Caitlin Florian, Jesus, Jay Pewen Coffett. Fucking, that's a tough one, Jay. Leaf Destan, Kev Dangerous, Kev quote-unquote dangerous McDonald. Kelly J., Angela Ansman, Shannon Ott, Tiffany Spees, Todd Peters, S.M. Ripper, Rachel Adams, Tristan Miller, Robin Larson, that's Angie Canalopoulos, Devin Bronger, Jade Montague, Justin Elzy, Tom with no last name, Vince Piscatelli, Jules Harris, she's fantastic, Cindy Vilzik, Jeffrey with no last name, Sophie S., Mark Fisher, the coach, obviously. Angie Kajawa, Jake Kokesh, Liza Rubichoud, William Shaw, Amanda Smith, M with no last name, Kenneth Allen, D's Nuts, Frank Lee, and also Frank Lee Osterhout. Thank you all so much, and all of our patron sponsors. You guys are terrific, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you do for us. It really is. If you think it's not appreciated, you're out of your mind. It is more than appreciated. Thank you so much. Overly. We really couldn't do it without you at all, so thank you so much, and we just can't thank you enough. Jimmie, what if they wanted to say something to you? How could they find you?
You can thank me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter and Instagram, and those are where I'm at. Where are you
Beautiful.
At?
I am over at Jimmie P is Funny. You can find me. You know how to find people.
Yeah.
Find people. You plug them in. You know how to do it.
You can find people in the program. You can find us.
Hey, copy and paste. You know what I'm talking about? So do that. Keep coming back every week. We had a lot of, this is a wild story.
Yeah.
Crazy one again, obviously, next week. Next week, we got Rod Strickland. So
Terrific.
back to some basketball, some fame here. And by the way, just if you're still listening, anybody going to get a little stinger, the Scummies are coming up in a month.
Shit.
Oh, baby, the Scummies. So that said, thank you so much. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus